Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, Meatball!
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Held in by Verhage. Now across. The truck with it. Score! Bouchard with it for the Oilers. Now Ekholm. Clock closing. Cross-ice pass. Draisaitl towards the net. Score! Leon Draisaitl in overtime. The Edmonton Oilers tie the series 2 games apiece. It's a base hit. McNair around third. He'll score easily. The Rockies have walked off the Giants.
And with that, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Fill in the Blank Friday edition of the Sam Bourquin Show. How we doing? Thanks for stopping by. We'll be with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Sammy B here, Ryan Rainsberg across the way. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. Text line also open for you today, 330-924-7088. We got a big show for you today. We're going to talk about a little bit more about the big changes for the OHSAA and the high school football playoffs. I told you we get 3 good coaches on today. Canton Central Catholic Jeff Lindesmith will join us very shortly, here in about 5 minutes or so. And we'll head east just a little bit. We'll check in with Ron Johnson, the head football coach at Salem. And then we'll circle back and head to the west a little bit.
The proud and honorable men and women of our military are still overseas, sacrificing their lives and their families.
I didn't know Rex was a part of the show today. How you doing, Rex? Hope you're well, buddy. Have a good weekend. Then we'll check in with Scott Garcia from the Glen Oak Gold Eagles coming up here at 4:35. We'll get their thoughts on the changes with the OHSAA football playoffs, and we'll talk a little ball with them today on this Friday the 13th. There it is. There was our horror feature of the day. Rex coming in on the show on a Friday the 13th. So hopefully we're good to go there. I forgot that's what the day was today.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize either, Sam.
Yeah,
we are so screwed.
We're done. I forgot it was because
the full moon is high and things are getting weird. Strawberry
moon a couple of nights ago, and now today is Friday the 13th. So here we go. We're off and running. All right, be quick before we go anywhere else, and I continue to set the table for the fill-in-the-blank Friday edition of the program. If you would like to go to the 2025 National High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremonies over at the Umstead Hall, Canton McKinley High School, tomorrow at 6 p.m., we've got our final pair of tickets. All you have to do, we're taking a caller for those, aren't we? What are we doing over there, Rainsberg?
I know. I just realized the interview is at 3:15, so we should do that at the 30 break then.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll give those away at the bottom of the hour, since we're gonna practically be in between a couple of high school football coaches, so that would be a perfect time to do that giveaway.
All right, absolutely.
So
I'll get him on the phone.
Listeners, be awake. 3:30 today, we're going to give those tickets away to the National High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. We'll get a pair for you. We'll give those away at 3:30 here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. It all works out. Trust me, it always does. All right, Guardians are back in action tonight in Seattle. 3-game set with the Mariners coming up. I think it's a 10-10 first pitch tonight. Late baseball tonight, and then Saturday and Sunday. U.S. Open, day 2. Our guy Maxwell Moldovan needs to get going here a little bit. He's still 6 over par as he heads to the 8th hole. It looks like the cut is going to be +4. +4, +5. So Max is going to have to he's going to have to get going here a little bit. But we'll follow him. We got the official Maxwell Moldovan tracker. I got it up on Twitter. All right. So every little thing that happens, we'll let you know and keep you posted on how he's doing. It looks like Scotty Scheffler is going to be okay and make the cut this weekend. NBA Finals continue tonight. It is Game 4 between the Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's in Indy tonight. Tip off a little bit after 8:30. We'll chat about that coming up. The Stanley Cup Finals last night. What a wild game. In overtime, Edmonton beats Florida, and the Oilers and the Panthers are now tied at 2 in the Stanley Cup Final. Browns finished up minicamp yesterday. We'll chat about that a little bit. And don't forget, it's also a fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, and we'll get into that as well. Lots going on today. And oh, by the way, it's going to rain later. So we have that to look forward to. Something we always look forward to, talking a little ball, high school football. Jeff Linda-Smith, Trucker from Canton Central Catholic here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Happy Friday, Trucker. How you doing, bud?
Happy Friday to you, Sammy.
Hey, good to hear your voice, man. How's the early summer been treating you?
It's been perfect, and we're getting a little rain over here where I'm at.
Oh, no. Okay. It's already started. Here we go. We're off and running. So, hey, before I pick your brain about the little NBA coming up here in a couple of minutes, I wanted to reach out to you. Got a couple coaches coming on today. I've got you. I got Ron Johnson from Salem coming up a little later, Scott Garcia. And I wanted to get a little insight from the coaches on the changes in the OHSAA playoff system that were announced yesterday. And a lot of folks, coaches, thought this might happen, and it did yesterday. What was your first reaction?
Well, I was kind of happy. I thought it was a good move. You think back at COVID in 2020. This is kind of what when we voted as coaches, we knew the state wanted to expand the playoffs. We did not want to go to 16. We wanted to go to 12. We thought it would be a good move if they want to expand it, and they went to 16, obviously. Which, for some teams that was neat. It was a really nice idea where it came to the idea of, some schools never get a chance to get in the playoffs. They get a little excited, but if you're a 15 or a 16 seed, not too many wins out of that package. We thought if they wanted to expand it, 12 would be better, which, it get your first 4 teams a bye. It has great years. But it gives an opportunity. Let's say for example, a Central Catholic that plays a real tough schedule. A lot of times we go 10, we go 11. Back in the day of 8 teams, we never would get in. I've been there long enough to know sometimes it was just 4 teams.
Yeah,
you finish 5th or 6th and have a great team, but just didn't have the opportunity. So it has a little bit to do with scheduling. I think that's nice, but you still. A top 12 is pretty good. I think it's really nice for the top 4 to get a bye. That's a huge, huge thing. And I always tell people by example, in 2016, we had our week 10, we had a bye.
That's right.
And
that's
we
right.
got a little bit of recovery time. And the only thing about the state playoffs is sometimes I worry about 16 weeks. Sam.
Me too. Me too.
I think it's a lot for a high school. It's a lot for a high school team. It's a lot for smaller schools that, say a school like us, we may have 2 or 3 really good skill kids that take kind of a beating and you got to ride them a while. And 16 weeks is really, really hard. And I look back at some of our long months we had in 2014, we weren't healthy going into week 15. Week 14, we went through a grinder. And 15 was the same kind of thing. And I don't know if your people know, but we played Coldwater 3 years in a row. In 2016, Coldwater went through a grind and weren't healthy going in, and that was only 15 weeks. And we really got a benefit of kind of staying healthy for that way. But 16 is a long, long time to play. You look at college guys. And the college coaches sometimes complain about 16 weeks of staying healthy. And I know Ryan Day had a big old article posted about how he set everything up for this long stretch of how to keep a team healthy. And that's sometimes hard for a small school.
Yeah. And Trucker, colleges, they got 130, 140 kids that they can pick from.
Exactly.
Some of the smaller schools, and your numbers are up a little bit, which is good, but you got a lot of guys going both ways too. So that's got to really weigh on the physical part of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you really got to be careful what you do. And people, I've thought you got to practice physical.
Mm-hmm.
The kids have to be that way. They have to know how to play that way. And when you start getting into, week 12, week 13, week 14, or sometimes week 16, that your practice time, you got to be real careful. And sometimes I get nervous that way because, you're not practicing maybe as hard as you have been. And then come a Friday night, oh my gosh, you just worry about how you change things up. And, your kids got to have a good routine to do that, but you got to keep them healthy as best you can.
Yeah. Best ability is availability, right, Coach? You got to be ready to play, man. Head coach of Canton Central Catholic, Jeff Linda Smith, is our guest here on 1310 WDPN, streaming live at Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel on the Sam Bourquin Show. I'm the question that I'm going to ask all the coaches, and you answered it already, and I'm interested, was how do you feel about the bye? And you answered that very eloquently. What if, let's just say, Coach, if you guys, I don't know, you get off to a slower start than maybe you'd like, and then you start catching fire maybe about week 9, week 10. You still good with that bye, or are you like, oh man, we're starting to hit that button, and now we gotta reset a little bit? How would you look at that if it happened?
Sammy, I would look at it as I would think it would be a good thing.
Okay.
And I know all us coaches are creatures of habit, and we love every week to do the same kind of thing and work. But I'm telling you, after 10 weeks, or 9 weeks, if you're 10 weeks, if you can get a bye, if you can just recover a little bit and still kind of keep a routine. We kind of did some neat things with our younger kids by week 10, and we had a Super Bowl for our freshmen and JVs to kind of play, and the varsity kind of watched and coached.
Okay.
I mean, it's a great thing to evolve your program a little bit, and you're going to have some extra weeks of practice, but I would not have a problem with that. I think kids will be fine. Obviously, I would love to be in the top 4 and get a bye. That would be awesome, especially with our schedule and what we have to go through for, 10 weeks. That would be great.
I was looking at some of the changes that could have been possible when they decided to go from 16 to 12, and I'm all for the 12 too, believe me. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe they shortened it back to 15 weeks. Well, they didn't. It's still 16 with the bye and everything. And then also another layer of this is you could possibly host 3 playoff games at your school if the situation would call. And obviously that's I guess the perfect season would be, you have a great regular season, you get a bye, okay, and then you roll in and you got a chance to play 3 in a row at home. After that, Coach, you're halfway to where you want to go.
Yeah, exactly. That's interesting because when I started reading on that, 3 weeks in a row, that's pretty good. I just know they have a hard time getting places to host.
Oh yeah.
You think everybody wants to host, and we've hosted a lot of games in my career over there, and it's a lot of work for the amount of money you get.
Not much cheddar at the other end, is there?
There's not a lot of change coming through the purse there, Ray, at the end, and you got to do a lot of things to get a lot of people involved, and that's all about I understand that with the state, but I can see that. But boy, I think that would be a great advantage, especially if you have a team rolling and you get 3 in a row and you don't have to travel. And we've traveled to Kirtland for a week 1 or a week 2, and we've did all over the state of Ohio, but you could stay home for halfway through. Oh boy, that would be great.
That would be great. Jeff Linda Smith is our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Now, one thing that the fans might enjoy is instead of having the 1 versus 16 now, if you just want to go check out a game, now you get right off the rip, you get to see a 5 versus a 12, a 6 versus 11, a 10-7, and a 9-8. So I would think that would be the competition is going to take a step up than what we've seen the last couple of years with the 1 and the 16, 2-15, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly right. I think the games will be better. It'll be better for the fans. And like I said earlier, I thought, it's nice. And I've talked to many coaches that never have an opportunity to get in the playoffs, and all of a sudden we're a 15 or 16. The community got excited for, 4 or 5 days, but then all of a sudden you're rolling into a place where
reality hits.
You don't have much of a chance. Yeah,
right.
Reality hits in, and there's not too many 15 or 16s win. I think one time we might have been a 13 and went somewhere and won, but it's rare. So I think that's kind of nice. And, I think it accommodates a little bit people that have some tough schedules, tough things to get into, and still there. I was kind of looking at it last night, like the Division Ones. I never could figure out. You have, everybody gets in, and I never could. All but one school,
right?
And I always thought that was kind of wrong. You had teams that were, what it was. Ignatius won 2 games, and got in.
A couple teams. I remember.
Not good, but
one year Lorraine got in at like 1-9. I mean, it was it was bizarre. I mean, it really, when you look at a coach, like the regular season in football, still, I'd like to believe at all levels, high school, college, and pro, it still means a lot. It still means something. But gosh, when you're letting teams with 1 win and 2, that kind of waters it down a little bit.
And I think that the regular season means so much more about the lessons you can teach kids and get in. And you know what I mean? It's that period of, like, we've already started. So for the next 6 months, it's about, kids learning things. And sometimes it's not all about the playoffs. And what are we going to have? 7 teams that win the last game, but it's much more than that.
No doubt.
Which is great. But I didn't like the idea of somebody like, in a Division One, getting in at 1-9. And I think Coach Kleinfeld always said that you better be healthy getting in the playoffs because you're only extended the chance of going back to living one more week.
That's right. That's right. If I was a coach, I'd say, you know what, we're going to pass. 1-9. We're not coming. We're not coming.
Yeah, and you're probably going to like St. Ed's or something.
Right,
going,
right.
This is not going to be fun.
The kids are thinking, running clock. We'll be able to get some McDonald's by 9:30 tonight. That's how it goes.
Exactly.
We had Tim Street on yesterday, and he said that this would be a trial this year, and they'll see how things go. Kind of figure out how to word this question. What would have to go terribly wrong for this not to be extended, and what has to really go right to keep it going?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a pretty good thing. I think people might complain about buys.
Probably.
I don't know, like the combination of things, and you're going to say, well, we just had to play an extra game. Some team's going to have a bye, but they deserve that bye. If this is the way you're going to set it up, that's fine. I think it's much more competitive from week 1 on, and I think that's fine that way. I don't know. Sometimes, Sam, I'm just going to be honest with you. Sometimes I worry about the state wanting that gate a little bit more, and I think that's why they went to 16 teams. COVID hit everybody the bad way, and it all had something to do with that. But I don't know what can be wrong with this, and you're going to say, well, somebody's getting fresher, but that's okay. They deserve that. They're the top 4.
Yeah, you earn that. You know what I mean? You earn that, exactly. And you should be able to enjoy it and recoup. And then at the end of the day, you want the best in there versus the best, and you want the best to be at their best. And I think that's all we want.
You're exactly right. And you talk about the value of a regular season game. This is it. If I have a chance to go into week 10 and and win it and get in the top 4, oh boy, that would be huge.
No
doubt.
That
would be huge. And so it make probably 10 weeks a little bit more important.
No doubt. Central Catholic head football coach Jeff Lindesmith, kind enough to spend some time with us today. Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, Q92 Sports. Okay, let's put that basketball hat on, Coach.
Here we go.
Let's talk a little NBA. We got ourselves a series now. Game 4 tonight. Oh, baby, look out, OKC. If they drop one tonight, they're in big trouble.
I agree. You ever seen a team? Now, Sam, we're a big Cavs fan, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But is there ever been a team that looks more destined to win a title than the Pacers?
I agree. I hate that we lost to them, but you know what? I'm kind of pulling for them a little bit.
Yeah, me too, because they're just so physical, so fun to watch at times, but they've had so many breaks. Your chances – I'm going to go back to, like, Halliburton making a couple of shots. Obviously, Game 2 was just a heartbreaker with the Cavs.
Yeah.
And you have no reason to lose in that game, but he gets a break and foul shots. They missed 3 foul shots under a minute and still win a game. How many times does that happen?
Never. That never happens.
Never.
Not supposed
and then he goes to the Knicks and he bounces off the back rim and it goes up 10 feet and comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it drops in. I'm going, this team is just destined to win. But I'm not saying that. I mean, they're fun to watch. They're so physical. Their guards get after it defensively, and I don't know. I agree. I told somebody I thought it'd go 5 games. OKC would win it in 5, but obviously I'm wrong. But if they lose tonight, they're in
trouble. I liked OKC in 6, but I will be happy to be wrong. I will be happy to be wrong and watch Indiana.
6, who do you think that Indiana was going to split one? You know what I mean? Like, you look at 6 games, you're going, all right, when can Indiana win?
Right.
I'm like, oh man, I'm going to go 5.
I love Carlisle too. I think he's a great coach.
Oh,
I do.
He pushed every button.
He does. You are not kidding.
You're right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they're just destined. They just get so many different breaks, and they play so hard. I mean, obviously, you look at end of the games, what they do. They don't panic. You know what I mean? If you're talking about to the buzzer, they play every game to the buzzer.
Yep. They do, and they got themselves a shot. All right, I got about 35, 40 seconds. What's one thing our Cavaliers need to do to take it to the next level?
Sam, here we go. Oh, man. You know I'm a big NBA guy, so I'm going to tell you this, and I know he's very, very good, but people yell at me for saying this. Sometimes I worry about Garland.
Yep.
I worry about Garland on both sides of the ball. I like a physical point guard that maybe can distribute and get you 15 points instead of a smaller one. I like the 2 big guys together. I'm just a little bit worried about our backcourt at times. I think it's a factor. Is he healthy enough? I don't know. He's never been
healthy a lot.
No, he's never made them run. And I understand he's a very, very talented guy. Don't you agree? And people are talking about Orlando for Suggs and maybe a little bit more. I mean, he's a great player, but I don't think he's going to carry you all the way till the end of June.
No.
I don't think he ever will.
I don't think so. Russ is available.
Oh, yeah.
Russ is available.
I'm a huge Russ fan.
He's out there.
Don't shoot threes.
Right. He's available. Oh, doggone it. I wish we had more time. We got to get to the news and such, but I appreciate you coming on. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sammy.
I appreciate it.
Day to you, and I'll do this anytime with you, buddy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you. There he is, Jeff Linda-Smith, the man in charge of the Crusader football program, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. All right, we got to get to the news and weather. Stay with us.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. Air raid sirens have sounded across Israel as Iranian missiles strike the country. The rumble of explosions could be heard throughout Jerusalem today, and Israeli television showed plumes of smoke rising in Tel Aviv after an apparent missile strike. There were no immediate reports of casualties. The army said dozens of missiles were launched. The army has ordered residents across the country to move into bomb shelters. ABC's Marcus Moore is in a shelter in Tel Aviv.
The IDF saying that they have identified at least 100 projectiles they believe perhaps possibly missiles that may have been fired and are headed towards this direction. That's the reason why these warnings have been going out tonight.
Israel launched a wave of strikes across Iran that targeted its nuclear program and military sites, killing at least 3 top military officers and raising the prospect of an all-out war. Meanwhile, the United States is shifting military resources in the Middle East in response to Israel's strikes on Iran. That, according to 2 U.S. officials today, the Navy has directed the destroyer USS Thomas Hudner to begin sailing from the western Mediterranean Sea toward the eastern Mediterranean and has directed a second destroyer to begin moving forward so it can be available if requested by the White House. Another official says American fighter jets are patrolling the sky in the Middle East to protect personnel and installations. The officials spoke on the condition of anonymity to provide details not yet made public or to discuss ongoing operations. President Trump's administration has released to deportation officials the personal data for millions of Medicaid enrollees, including their immigration status. That's according to an internal memo and emails obtained by the Associated Press. Trump officials have been reaching into communities across the country to ramp up deportations and fought for the health data on immigrants from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. The data set released this week includes the information of people living in California, Illinois, Washington State, and Washington, D.C., which all allow immigrants who are in the U.S. illegally to enroll in relatively new Medicaid Medicaid programs that pay for their expenses using only state taxpayer dollars. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man who was returned to the U.S. after his mistaken deportation, pleaded not guilty today to federal human smuggling charges. His wife Jennifer Vasquez spoke to supporters gathered outside the Nashville courthouse where Abrego Garcia was arraigned today.
I'm grateful for everyone who has been fighting for this milestone in this fight to bring my husband back home with our children.
It's 80 degrees in Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For the afternoon, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise mostly cloudy skies with a high around 80. For tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely once more, a low near 64. Showers and thunderstorms, a possibility once more Saturday afternoon and into the early evening hours, a high of 75. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
The proud and honorable men and women of our military are still overseas, sacrificing their lives and their families' emotions for another country's freedom. Please pray for the courageous troops of our military. This salute, courtesy of Quick Fix Mobile Welding, LLC, proudly serving our area with excellence. For all of your residential and commercial custom fabrication and welding needs, call 330-529-9810. 330-529-9810. That's Quick Fix Mobile Welding, LLC. On the air, reminding everyone that freedom isn't free. It's paid for by our military.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Hey, I want to thank Jeff Linda Smith, head football coach at Canton Central Catholic, for spending some time with us today, talking about the football playoff changes brought down by the OHSAA yesterday. And I'll tell you what, and you could tell when you listen to Coach Lindy. I think he enjoyed talking basketball more than football. He loves hoops, man. I love talking hoops with Trucker. Thanks again for coming on. Okay, let's see here. Our next high school football coach will be Ron Johnson from Salem at 4:15. We'll get his thoughts on the playoff changes, and then Scott Garcia from Glen Oak will pop in here at around 4:35 this afternoon. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. We didn't really get a chance to, get into it yesterday, but I wanted your thoughts on the changes made by the OHSAA. You can call in, you can text in, drop us some comments on our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube channel. But what are your thoughts on taking it from 16 to 12? What are your thoughts on there being a bye for the top four seeds in each region? And what are your thoughts on it's still going 16 weeks? And also the fact that, if you get a really good seed to start off, you get to play the first 3 rounds at home. That's a pretty good gift. But I was driving home yesterday, and I was thinking back to how far we've come as far as the high school football playoffs were concerned. Now, I can recall when I was a youngster, but I really followed high school football. My dad just kind of ingrained that in me at an early age. you're going to like it. You're going to follow it. And I did. I loved it. I can probably take you back. Let's see. I was born 69. When I started, oh gosh, how old are you in like third grade? 8? I was about 8, 9 years old. When I started to, I would run to the mailbox or the paper chute on Saturday and Sunday mornings to grab the repository and look at all the scores. Remember, they had them in big boxes, about 2 levels. They'd run them across the front, all the high school scores from that night, and I would read them. And I'd turn the pages and I'd look at the box score and see they had a lot of pictures. And I thought, man, this is really cool. And I always followed that for decades. Loved it. Now things have changed now with technology, and we kind of go that direction now. But that's okay. But my point being, I remember when they only took 2 teams per region. 2. I mean, there were teams that would go 10-0. You didn't make it. They started the Harbin ratings, I believe, in 74, if I'm not mistaken. 74 or 75. I think it was 74. The computer rankings that we have now. That's when they started that. And, there were some teams that went 10-0, and if you didn't play that real tough schedule, you didn't get those points, and you couldn't crack the top 2. You had to really play some people. You had to earn your way in, okay? So it went from 2, then it went to 4, then it went to 8. And I remember Tom McDaniels, Coach McDaniels, who was with Camp McKinley for a lot of years, did a great job. And I may reach out to Coach. We'll see how this goes. I might want to get his opinion maybe a little closer to football season on this. So he was a big proponent. He kind of got behind the push, I think, if I remember correctly, to get it to the top 8. And then just kind of maybe that's where we need to keep it. And they got it passed. Coaches were on board. OHS, okay, we're going to do it. So they went to 8. So then it was 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. You follow the brackets, you play it out, you got your state champ. Awesome. Now, I'm trying to remember when it went to 8. And if anybody remembers, let me know. I don't know if teams hosted a first-round game then. I think they might have, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to give you bad information. But I know anyway, by week 2, it was all neutral sites, okay? And then, heck, I think after 4 weeks, I think we crowned our state champs. And then we stayed at 8 for a long, long time. Maybe we went to 15 weeks, 14 or 15 weeks. But it just seemed like every regular season game was like life and death. You know what I mean? It was, there was no margin for error. With 2 teams, with 4 teams, even with 8 teams, if you lose one, you better be careful. Okay? And if you were going to get a big win down the stretch, that was really going to help you as far as your computer points were. If you were going to play a team that already had like maybe 6, 7, 8 wins the last couple of weeks, you knew you had a chance to go up the ladder a little bit. And I thought that made some of the late season games really, really good. Really good theater, high drama, great crowds. Hey, we got to have this one. There was no, there's 16, we'll get in. Well, there was none of that. And I kind of missed that. So we were 8 for a long, long time. And then 2020 rears its ugly head and all these crazy changes are made. And we've stayed with them until now. So it's been a 4 or 5 year run of 16 teams getting in per region and hosting the first 2 rounds. And then they took away the Friday, Saturday playoffs as well. Remember, we would play, say, and this was when we had, heck, I go back when it was A, AA, AAA. There were no divisions. Okay, it was A, AA, AAA. Then we went to divisions 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we went to 5. Then we went to now we have 7. So you can see where this is leading. Okay, more games, more revenue, longer season. There we are. So now that we're at 12, I wonder how this is going to look and how it's going to play out, how teams and schools and coaches maybe, will they schedule a little bit differently? Will they schedule down? Will they schedule up? I'm interested to see how that goes. I know most teams already have their schedule done for the 2025 season, but I'm talking 26, 27, 28 down the road. What's that going to look like? And if this all works out in the eyes of the OHSAA and the coaches, then we will keep this 12, and we'll move forward. I don't think there will be another cry, at least I hope not, that people want to go back to 16. Okay? I thought that was nonsense to begin with. I kind of understand the 1 year. I understood the 1 year thing. And I know the OHSAA had to recoup a little bit. So that was okay. But I really thought it was nonsense the last 3 years that the top 16 were making. And I thought that was baloney. Okay. So now we're at 12. What are your thoughts on that as a fan? I got the coaches coming on for it to speak what they think. I want to know about you, the high school football fan. What are your thoughts on 12 teams now? What are your thoughts on the top 4 getting a bye? What are your thoughts on teams hosting as maybe as many as 3 playoff games at their site, at their school? And then what is your thoughts on the whole thing still being 16 weeks? I'd love to pick your brain there. 330-821-1310. You can also text in 330-924-7088. We'll see how this goes. I believe it's a trial run, but I would be shocked if it went back to where it was. I think this will work. I'm not sure about the buys. I'm interested to talk to some of the other coaches what they feel about the bye. The pros, oh yeah, it's football, it's physical, it's a grind. We're just starting to get into November, almost. Getting a little darker earlier, getting a little colder. The bumps and bruises hurt a little bit more. So, yes, the bye is probably really welcomed. Just to try to heal up a little bit, okay? Take care of those bumps and bruises and nicks and just try to rejuvenate yourself a little bit, especially the guys that are playing both ways. Folks, I'm going to tell you what, it's hard. It's hard to play 2 ways. And I know they're teenage kids, but it's football. It's hard. Some of these kids never come off the field. The only time they come off the field is in between the quarters and at halftime. Some of them. It's not easy. So I understand the bye might be good there. And then the one thing I kind of do like is the first round of the playoffs now, we're not going to see David versus Goliath all over the state of Ohio. You're going to get a 5-12 right off the rip. Okay? You're going to get a 6 versus 11, a 7 versus a 10, an 8 versus a 9. Early in the playoffs. That's going to be good. Those are going to be really good games. There will be no more running clocks to start the second half. That was ridiculous. Hopefully we're done with that. But I want to know what you think as a fan about the changes that were made yesterday. I'm really, really interested to get your thoughts. You still cool with the 16 weeks if a team is going to go win a state title? How you feeling about playing 3 consecutive home games in the playoffs? I mean, some teams, not mentioning any, might play 12 home games this year if they get 3 games in the playoffs. Holy moly. I just want to get your thoughts on that. I'm glad they went to 12. I still think there was some changes they could have made. I really think this should be a 15-week season. Let's just cut to it. I think 15 weeks to crown a state champion in 7 divisions is where it needs to go. That's what I want. That's what I want. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. I want to get that out to you so you can respond and react on the phone or our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube channel. Today's fill-in-the-blank Friday is, if you could have one superpower, it would be blank. If you could have one superpower, what would it be? Good responses coming in. Doug says, invisibility. Oh, boy. How'd you like to be invisible? Oh, man. Dan Weaver says, bewitched power. Ron Rector, the ability to keep my mouth shut when I hear, what do you think? That's good. Scotty D, tomorrow's scoreboard today. Yes, that would help. Imagine all the money you could win knowing the outcomes of games before they're played. You could make a fortune. I mean, and if you were really good at getting information, like you could pry it out of the NFL since those games are already scripted anyway. Oh, I'm sorry. Conspiracy theorist guy. Doug Edwards says, I would love to have Superman's strength. Pat Murray says, bewitched. Oh, here's a good one. Eric Snodgrass. Hi, Eric. He says, anti-aging. Yeah, sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. Tom Lawver says, invisibility. Luann, I like this one from Luann. She says, to heal. That would be neat. Mike Lawrence says, travel at the speed of light. What superpower would you want? That's our fill-in-the-blank Friday. If you could have one superpower, it would be blank. 330-821-1310. Keep those comments coming on Facebook, on Twitter, on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. We'll continue to read those here this afternoon. Guardians and Mariners late night baseball out in Seattle tonight, game 1 of a 3-game series there. We got game 4 of the NBA Finals tonight. Is it a must-win for OKC? I think so. Game 4 at Indy tonight after 8:30. Pacers lead that series 2-1. Stanley Cup will take a break tonight. High drama in Florida last night. Overtime. Edmonton comes all the way back. They beat the Panthers. That series now is tied at 2. Now it's a best of 3 for Lord Stanley's Cup. Give me some of that. We'll take a break. 8 minutes until the top of the hour. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on a fill-in-the-blank Friday. AM 1310 WDPN.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back, 1310 WDPN, and we are streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. Make sure if you want to watch and listen to us simultaneously, you can get it on a bunch of our social media platforms. AM 1310 WDPN on Twitter, on Facebook, Q92 Radio on the YouTube channel and Facebook page. And you can also hang out with us here on the old terrestrial radio. What do you say? AM 1310 WDPN. All right, phone lines are open, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Kicking around the high school football playoff changes. Again, we're going to check in with a couple of more of our area coaches. 4:15, we'll check in with Ron Johnson. Gosh, I haven't talked to Coach in a long time. From over at Salem, he'll be joining us at 4:15, and then Scotty Garcia from the Glen Oak Golden Eagles will be checking in here at 4:35 today. Also, it's a fill-in-the-blank Friday. If you could have one superpower, it would be blank. If you could have one superpower, it would be blank. 330-821-1310. I haven't thought about my answer yet. I'm still percolate a good one because I don't want to just say something willy-nilly. I want to think about it. Invisibility would be good. The ability to heal would be good. I'm very intrigued with knowing the outcomes of games before they happen. I think that might be the ticket right there. Rainsburg, if you had a superpower, what would you want it to be?
I've been actually thinking about it pretty good too for the past couple of minutes. And I think for me, it would probably be super speed, mostly because I am so impatient deep down. And it would be so nice to be able to do everything faster. So yeah, super speed. It's my whole body. I want to be able to go as fast as I can.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
So much more done in the day.
I think so too. I've always had a problem. I didn't used to, but I do now. And I hope the boss isn't listening. I have a problem with procrastination.
Oh, preaching to the choir.
And I admit it. Now I'm trying to, I think I've gotten better. But I was always the kid in school. If the teacher gave us a paper to do, teacher, when's this due? Oh, you guys have, you got 8 weeks. Okay. So they would give it to us, say in October. I wouldn't need to have it done until maybe we were done for Christmas break. Well, you know what I did? December 21st, I'm up 15 hours, grinding away, getting it done and turning it in, broke out in a sweat, all that stuff.
Exactly.
And you would think I would learn from that.
No, never.
But you know what the problem was? Here was the problem. And I don't mean to pat myself on the back. I would always get an A if I did it that way. So there was no learning tool there for me. If I would have got like a C or a D, see, you should have. Nope. I always got a good grade. So there was no reason for me to start on a project earlier and make it easier for myself and be a little bit more thorough. I always took everything down to the wire. I mean, I've always done that. And whether it's to get somewhere at a certain time, to get something finished by a certain timeline, and it's a really bad trait and I'm trying to work on it. Like I said, I think I've gotten better, but there are still days I'll look at I got X amount of time. Oh, there's no need to hurry. I'll be there in plenty of time. What time? Oh, I got to be there at 6. All right. And it's like 5:20. I got 10 minutes. Now it's 5:30. I'll grab the keys and I'll go sit down. I don't need to be there. And then pretty soon I'm like, son of a, you know what I mean? I've always done that. I've got to get better. What's the key to that, by the way?
I don't know. When it comes to leaving the house, I always I figure out exactly how long it's going to take me to get from A to B. And I'll be like, okay, this is going to take 10 minutes. That means I need to leave at, X50. So I have 10 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
So then I just like, all right, that's going to take this long. I got to leave at this time. And then at that time, I go out the door, whether I want to or not. Gotta kick yourself a little bit sometimes.
And that's when sometimes the obligatory speeding ticket comes into play. You're in a hurry. You're going 20, 25 miles an hour faster than you should. All of a sudden, and then you're like, oh, my God. And then you think you learned your lesson there. But, those of us procrastinators,
we never learn.
That's our problem.
No.
We don't learn our lesson.
Can't break that habit.
It's like starting a diet. Okay, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow rolls around. Oh, you want to have lunch, huh? Okay. Or like, since I've worked here, I've been sitting a lot more lately. I know I've gained 10 pounds since I started here. I know I have. And then we've got our guy Keller, hey, I'm door dashing. You want anything? Oh, forget. What am I going to do? Say no? So there's that. And
Keller is definitely a bad influence on all of us.
Yes, he is the DoorDash king. So, all right, I'll start the diet maybe next week. I'll be ready to go. I build myself up. Okay, and then next week rolls around. Now, see a couple late night commercials, a couple of minutes of Food Network on the and I'm like, okay, well, we'll do it next week. And pretty soon, next week is 6 months from now. And yeah, so there's that. Got to work on that. I'll do that tomorrow. 4 o'clock straight up. News, weather coming up. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on a fill-in-the-blank Friday. 2 more big hours to go. Hang out with us here, 1310 WDPN.
Keeping Alliance entertained and informed for over a half a century. AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. Across Israel a short time ago, air raid sirens sounded, warning of incoming missiles. The IDF says dozens of Iranian ballistic missiles targeting Israel were intercepted. Iran's response follows Israel's strikes, killing top Iranian military leaders and nuclear scientists, and also targeting uranium sites. ABC's Martha Raddatz says it marks a major escalation in the Middle East.
What you really have to watch for in these coming days is how serious Iran's assault is on Israel. Israel will respond in kind and even worse. So whatever the Iranians do right now, whatever they do in the coming days will be met with massive force by the Israelis. So the Iranians have to take that into consideration.
At the White House, President Trump met with his national security team. Thousands of U.S. troops are stationed in the region. This is ABC News.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains June 13th through the 23rd. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Allstate's new home insurance is now better than ever. We're making getting the right home insurance that's right for you super easy with our improved online quoting tool. It explains how each coverage option works for you without the headache. Yep, you can start protecting your home in a matter of minutes. So check Allstate first for home insurance that's better than ever. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Coverage subject to terms, qualifications, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. This news a service of Cars Auto Repair. The Stark County Sheriff's Office has fired a deputy who shot 2 stray dogs in Canton. Sheriff Eric Weisburn says a resident of the 800 block of 6th Street Southwest reported Tuesday that the canines had bitten her grandson. A second person was also bitten. A deputy from the Dog Warden Division responded and found the dogs in the 800 block of 5th Street Southwest. He fatally shot one of the dogs and wounded the second. The injured animal was treated and is expected to recover. The dog's owner was cited for allowing them to run at large. After an initial review, the deputy was terminated for failing to follow proper protocols for handling aggressive animals. The deputy's name has not been released. A trial is scheduled to begin November 3rd for a man charged with killing a Smith Township woman. 33-year-old Nicholas Cunningham is charged with aggravated murder, violating a protection order, and aggravated burglary in the October 2023 death of 44-year-old Gina Wade. She was found dead inside her Courtney Road home. The trial date was set Wednesday during a hearing in Mahoning County Common Pleas Court. A pretrial hearing is scheduled for August 18th. Cunningham previously pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. He underwent a pair of evaluations and was treated at Heartland Behavioral Health in Massillon. Cunningham was ruled competent in April. Neither the defense nor the prosecution is seeking an additional evaluation. The Marlington School Board Thursday approved community reinvestment areas for MPI Label Systems and Robertson Heating Supply. MPI plans to build a small addition on West Main Street. The $1 million project would create 10 new full-time and 2 part-time jobs. Robertson is proposing a 93,000 square foot warehouse on West Main. It would lead to 20 new full-time and 5 part-time positions. The construction cost is $17 million. The board discussed the Ohio House budget proposal, which includes a provision to close school buildings where enrollment is below 60% of capacity. The House and Senate are reconciling their respective budget plans. Scott Stayer was hired as athletic director. He has a 3-year contract effective August 1st. Stayer is now at Canton Local. The Canton Local Board of Education is expected to name Larry Tosh as the school district's next superintendent. The selection will take place at their meeting Monday. Tosh has nearly 30 years of experience. He has served as principal of Northwest High School since 2016, following 4 years as principal of Northwest Middle School. Tosh will succeed Brett Yeagley. He was hired last month as superintendent of the Lake Local School District. Nimishillen Township trustees Thursday made a final payment concerning a cost-sharing agreement with Stark County. WDPN's David Schur reports.
With the closing of CENTCOM, the township no longer needs the CAD software maintenance contract and therefore paid the county $4,718 as a final payment. Trustees also accepted quotes from Connecting Point to construct a computer firewall, docking stations for the computers in the zoning and fiscal offices, and a new computer for the road department totaling $3,978.
Customers of various sewer districts served by Columbiana County will see higher rates later this summer. Commissioners approved the rate hikes Wednesday. They will increase 10% in July, 10% in July 2026, and 5% in July 2027. County Engineer Bert Dawson and County Chief Deputy Sanitary Engineer Troy Graft recently said the increases are necessary due to rising operating and equipment costs. The last rate hike was in 2017. Graft said significant cost cutting has taken place since then. A no-contest plea has been entered by a known gang member apprehended during a sex sting in Salem. The plea to charges of engaging in prostitution, possession of criminal tools, and obstructing official business was entered Thursday by 34-year-old Eric Stewart of Ravenna. Columbiana County Municipal Judge Kelly Linger issued a suspended jail sentence with credit for time served. Stewart was also sentenced to 3 years probation. He will spend 18 days in jail. Stewart was arrested earlier this month. Police said he responded to an undercover ad and agreed to pay for sex. Stewart was apprehended after trying to flee from police. The Mahoning County Grand Jury has issued a superseding indictment for a Struthers man accused of causing a fatal 2-vehicle crash. 65-year-old Walter Bolt now faces 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, aggravated vehicular assault, 2 counts of OVI, and 1 count of operating a vehicle under the influence of a controlled substance. Common Pleas Judge Scott Krischbaum on Wednesday approved a motion from prosecutors to reschedule a suppression hearing from June 17th to June 23rd. Bolt's defense attorney opposed the continuance. He filed a motion to suppress blood evidence in the case taken after the March 3rd crash in Springfield Township. The Highway Patrol said 44-year-old Angela Brown and her 15-year-old son Jason Daff were killed when Bolt's pickup collided with their car on Route 170. Another son was injured and is recovering. A pretrial hearing is set for July 9th. Bolt has pleaded not guilty. A Youngstown mayoral candidate will not face felony charges for an incident in Liberty Township. The Trumbull County Grand Jury declined to indict 54-year-old John White on charges charges of disrupting public service and domestic violence. He was arrested May 2nd after police responded to a domestic disturbance at a home on Tibbetts Wick Road. A woman accused White of breaking items around the house and taking her car keys and throwing them onto the roof of the garage. She also said White took her phone and threw it into a ditch when she tried to call 911. It's 80 degrees in Alliance at 407. This is the local edition of WDPN News, a service of Cars Auto Repair. Cars with a K. Schedule your appointment today by calling 330-821-3100. I'm Jeff Mears.
Since 1996, Kale's Auto Repair Service, Cars with a K, has been the trusted auto repair shop in Alliance. With over 80 years of experience in Stark and Mahoning County, their team provides high-quality auto care and customer service. They offer a range of services from preventative maintenance to engine repair, AC service, and more. The shop features 10 bays, state-of-the-art diagnostic tools, and mechanics ready to get your car on the road again. They accept all makes and models, ensuring top-notch service for every vehicle. Open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5 p.m. and Friday from 8 to 11 a.m. Schedule your appointment today by calling 330-821-3100.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For the rest of your Friday afternoon, mostly cloudy skies, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high around 80. Showers and thunderstorms likely again overnight, a low dipping to 64. Saturday, keep the umbrella handy. Showers and thunderstorms, a possibility during the afternoon and early evening, a high reaching 75. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Held in by Verhage. Now across. The truck with it. Score! Reinhardt! Bouchard with it for the Oilers. Now Ekholm. Clock closing. Cross-side pass. Right side towards the net. Score! Leon Draisaitl in overtime. The Edmonton Oilers tie the series 2 games apiece. It's a base hit. Hitman around third. He'll score easily. The Rockies have walked off the Giants.
Boy, the Stanley Cup is heating up. A couple of walk-off winners in baseball last night. That's what we love about sports. It's what we love about being with you every day, Monday through Friday, 3 until 6 here on AM 1310 WDPN. Streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show. It's a fill-in-the-blank Friday. It's also a Friday the 13th. Don't walk under any ladders today. All right? Avoid the black cats. Stay away.
What do I do, Sam? I have bad luck all the time.
I know. Stay away from me.
What do I do? I shouldn't have left my house.
You stay away from me. That's what you do. 330-821-1310 is the telephone number. You can also text us at the 330-924-7088. National High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremonies coming up tomorrow. We still got a way for you to get in. We're going to make it real easy for you. We got a pair of tickets to give away. We're going to do that at 4:30. Okay, 4:30 on the dot. we'll take the first caller. Then you get a chance to go to that. That's going to be a great event. That's at 6:00 at the Zimmerman Symphony Umstead Hall, Kent McKinley. The 2025 National High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. Going to be really fun. Going to be really neat. A lot of big time people going to be there. Your chance to win those tickets coming up at 4:30. So
hey, Sam,
stick around.
Gotta interject here because I don't want you to forget that we have another pair of tickets that we're giving away today.
That's right.
Yes.
Quack, quack. The Akron Rubber Ducks. We've got tickets to give away there for any game that you would like to go to up at Canal Park this year. And all you have to do there is just go to our live stream, our live video stream right now on the YouTube channel, on Facebook, on Twitter. Go to the comment section and just type in the word baseball. Okay? Just type in the word baseball. We will select a winner at random right after the show today here on 1310 WDPN. Go to our live stream. We'll hook you up. A chance to win 2 tickets to a Rubber Ducks game of your choice, okay, at Canal Park. Real easy. All you have to do, go to our live stream and just type in the word baseball in the comment section on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
You can also text the word baseball into 330-924-7088 with the word baseball as well.
There you go.
Both are options.
Can't make it much easier, right? But that's what we're here for. We want you to win. We want you to have fun and tell us about your experience. And that's just how we do things here, 1310 WDPN. All right. Ron Johnson from Salem is going to be coming up here in just a couple of minutes. It's also a fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the program. And today's fill-in-the-blank Friday question is, if you could have one superpower, it would be blank. If you could have one superpower, it would be blank. 330-821-1310. Real good ones today. A lot of folks have been saying they want to be invisible, the ability to heal. Kim wants to be a mind reader. Lori wants to fly. She wants to fly. She wants to teleport. Walter, hope you're doing well. He wants to be invisible. All right, what superpower would you like? That's our fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. I want to thank Jeff Lindesmith, Canton Central Catholic, for joining us in the 3 o'clock hour today. Glen Oak head coach Scott Garcia coming up at 4:35 this afternoon. We got the NBA Finals tonight. Stanley Cup takes a break. The Guards and the Mariners tonight out in Seattle. U.S. Open at Oakmont. Oh, that course is just eating golfers alive today. It's been tough, man, and the weather's going to get a little shaky. Right now, our very own Maxwell Moldovan from Green and Ohio State. He's at 7 over par. Looks like the cut line's going to be 4 over, so Max has got some work to do, but we'll keep you in touch here on 1310. Without any further ado, it is time for me to catch up. It has been a long time. Let's bring in the head football coach of the Salem Quakers, Coach Ron Johnson, to the Sam Bourquin Show on WDPN. Coach Ron, how you doing this afternoon? It's so good to catch up with you.
Sam, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well. You were one of the first coaches I thought of. I wanted to get somebody from, the EBC area, East Side. I wanted to get an independent coach and maybe somebody from the Federal League. And you were the first guy that I wanted to reach out to. And I appreciate you taking the time. I know you got some good stuff coming up here later on today. Ohio, Pennsylvania football, and we'll let you get that rolling on time. But I want to get your thoughts, Coach, on the decision by the OHSAA yesterday, knocked the playoff down from 16 to 12 in each region, and we'll kind of go from there. What did you think about it?
Well, I don't really know why they did it, what the purpose was. And a lot of decisions they make, I can never really understand, but if you're not alone in any way, shoot, we're just going to play them all and play as long as they let us anyway.
Right.
But with it didn't trim any weeks off the season. It's still going to be a 6-week playoff season.
Yep.
I'd like to see it go back to 8 personally, but that's just, my own opinion. And like I said, the opportunity to play, and wherever we ever get slotted in, I'm happy to be there, and we'll play as long as we can.
Yeah, Coach, there were a lot. I put a poll out a couple of days ago that I could not believe how many said, yeah, we want 8. Of course, this is the fans talking, but still, I mean, you've been a coach for a long, long time. I've been following for a long time. I thought at 8, it was perfect. And then things went cuckoo in 2020, and here we are today. But yeah, I'm a firm believer, Coach. I would like to see it wrap up in 15 weeks. I just had Jeff Lindesmith on. He said 16 it's probably too long. But the ketchup's out of the bottle now. I don't know how they put it back and try to. There's probably a way to figure out to do it, but they haven't found that yet. What is your thoughts on the buys for the top 4 seeds?
Well, I would not like one personally, just because I think we're all very regimented in what we do, and we're creatures of habit. And when guys get in a groove, a lot of times you're playing your best football late in the year, and you don't want to do anything to mess up that routine. And heck, you can see how it worked out for the college guys this year. 4 of them had a bye and 4 of them lost.
Yep.
So, I personally wouldn't like it, but I understand all the reasons for, hey, get your team healthy, that kind of thing. But, it's a tough thing to do. Is anytime you change the routine of guys of what you do on each day and that kind of thing. Now, like when we were at McKinley, though, we played Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon in one season. So there's a lot of difference in regimentation there. So it's all according to how you handle it as a leader. But I think it would be really difficult to have a bye week, especially late in the year when you're playing so well.
Coach, forgive me, Salem, your division now is what in football?
4.
You guys are 4. Okay. I didn't know if you were 3 or 4. You're 4. Okay. So moving forward, I know that most, if not all, schedules are done now for the high school football season for 2025. So moving forward, and we stick with this 12, and it's still going to be a 16-week season for the teams that are get there. Will you change the way, or try to change the way that you schedule it all one way or the other, or will you just kind of do what you've always been doing?
Well, we've scheduled up for a couple of reasons. One, we got to become a lot better football team, and I thought with going to 16 teams, you could absorb a couple losses in the course of the year for the benefit that you gain by playing quality people. And we do that. Heck, we opened with Poland and South Range, and they played each other in the regional final last year. So we had a Final 4 and a Final 8 team there. Then, of course, our rival games with East Liverpool, and we played, Truckers team there at Central Catholic. And then we have Beaver Local, which is another neighborly rivalry game. But I mean, it's a good non-league schedule. I guess even as good as it is, and we're picking up Canfield in the future next year. So as good as it is, I mean, I think you still can play that kind of competition. And if you don't win enough games to qualify with the Harbin points, well, maybe you didn't deserve to be in the playoffs anyway. Because I never want to, play an easy schedule and miss out that way. You've seen some 9-1 teams and that have missed the playoffs. But I'd much rather challenge our kids and challenge our program and play quality people.
Now, when you were with McKinley, Coach, was it the whole time you were there? Was it 8 the whole time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we all
part of it now. As a player, I was back in the day when it was 2, then it went to 4, then it went to 8, then it went to 12 temporarily, it went to unlimited in the COVID year, then back to 16, now back to 12. So I've kind of been through the whole gambit of the qualifications.
Did you ever think, Coach, when it was at 2, could you ever envision back then that at 1 year it would almost be like, hey, you're all invited to come and play? No, I mean, it was such a challenge, and I played in an era with a lot of, we were a 9-1 football team that didn't get in. Urbana High School was right there next to me, and that was a quality football team that at times didn't get in. 1 year they didn't get in at 10-0 when it was only taking 2 teams. I mean, it was a real honor and testament to the quality of your football team when you made the playoffs back in those days. When do you remember when the playoffs started? When was the first year that a team could actually host a first-round game at their school? What year did that start? You remember? Oh, gee. Because I don't. I can't remember. I mean, because I know the first time I was in the playoffs, we played at neutral sites right off the rip. We didn't have home games. I'm glad to see them go to the extra home game. I mean, as being part of the Ohio High School Football Coaches Association and all that, one of the recommendations that we had was I'd like to see them have the top seed host all the way through the regional.
I mean, if you play 10 games and you've earned a number one seed in your region, that would be the benefit of getting to play at home the entire regional, and then make the change to neutral sites once you get to the Final Four.
Okay.
And they've made one step closer to that by going 3 rounds. But I think that would be nice to be a number one seed and earn that all the way through. And the other thing is I know it all comes down to money.
Oh, absolutely.
I think the OHSAA actually saves money if they allow home teams to host, because they don't have to rent huge venues, pay a lot of money to college stadiums and that kind of thing. They got more than enough workers, because everybody in that community obviously is a very proud supporter of their program, and they have their jobs that they do at every home game. It runs a lot smoother. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of merit to having them on home sites.
I'm trying to do the quick math here on the run, and I think I've come up with something here. When they had 16 teams in, more games, more gate, more revenue for the OHSAA. So they took 4 away, but now I think they've figured out a way to counter by giving that third home game and also keeping it a 16-week season. It's kind of like a wash, right?
Yeah, I think without getting into the dollars and cents of it, that's probably got a lot to do with it.
Ron Johnson is our guest. He is the outstanding head football coach at Salem, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show on 1310 WDPN, streaming all over the world at AM1310WDPN.com. So we had Tim Street on yesterday, and he said this is more or less going to be like a trial, and then they'll take the year, they'll sit down, they'll talk about it, and figure out where they want to go. Do you think there is any way possible, Coach, that this would ever go back to 16 again?
Wow. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing they keep talking about is that they don't want, major blowouts, 16 versus 1, 2 versus 15, those kind of things. But you and I have both been at Old Fawcett Stadium and saw teams win by 50. Saw Mogador get beat by 50 by people in the state finals. And that's the 2 best teams in the state of Ohio. We saw Shadyside get beat by 60, I think, to
Marion Local or Delphus St. John's.
Local,
yeah.
And, and then, you see a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, Springfield made it in as a 12 seed, made it all the way to the state finals.
Yeah.
If they choose to play up, if you choose to play a demanding schedule, like the GCL does down in Cincinnati, a lot of those teams are 5-5, 4-6, and win state championships. And I know Steve did it at St. X. And, so I don't know if the seeding is as big a deal and why they're using that as a justification on trimming it down, and that it's, still 2 teams playing every week, and there can be blowouts in the state championship game, and there can be tight games in round 1. So I don't know if that's the right reason to justify the change.
You brought up a great point about how you guys are trying to and have been able to schedule up. How hard is it to schedule up for maybe a school like a Salem or a team that's always really good in Division 5, 6, or 7? You want to get your crack at somebody during the regular season, but some schools may say, "Nah, we'll pass. We like what we're doing." How hard is it to schedule up nowadays?
Well, it's all according, like you said, the school and the history of the school. I mean, a lot of people don't want to schedule a Marion local because there's really nothing to gain in it for them. I mean, until they start putting, points on quality wins and how close you play people and that kind of thing. I mean, you can play a great Marion local team as a Division, 3 Franklin team or something. Let's say they're relatively close, and you lose on the last second. It's still a loss, and it's no different than losing to any other team. So I mean, it's more important to win than it is to lose close, because there are no. The Parvin system has nothing. They don't care about how well you play.
Right.
It's only if you win or lose against what sides of school and how they do against other opponents. So I think it's really hard for those smaller schools to schedule up because people don't see anything to gain. You were hoping, or I was hoping, that with the way the Division I system had gone, where everybody makes the playoffs essentially, that we'd be able to start getting some of those teams to schedule down because they truly have nothing to lose.
Right.
They can lose and they're still in the playoffs. So, I mean, I was hoping that would happen, but it doesn't appear that it has.
No, it never really went that way. So, are you still having as much fun as ever coaching high school football? And I know we had shared a lot of time when you were over Camp McKinley, and now you've been at Salem, got your program, your stamp on the program and all that. Are you still having as much fun as ever?
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing better in the world than coaching the game you love and doing it with great kids that appreciate it the same way.
Coach, I'll tell you what, I really appreciate you taking some time again with us today. Best of luck in the upcoming season. I know we'll call upon you once we get rolling here late August. Have a great weekend and have a great summer. Good to talk to you again.
All right, Sam. Thank you very much. You too.
You bet. There you go. Ron Johnson, head coach of the Salem Quakers, and good to catch up with him. Now, see, this is what I liked. We had Coach Linda Smith on from Central, little different point of view. We had Coach Johnson on, little different point of view. All right. So now all the heat's on Coach Garcia at Glen Oak. He has to come up with a third different opinion on what we're talking about here today. But always good to catch up with Ron John. Good people right there. All right. If you want to go to the National High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremonies in Canton tomorrow, it's at 6 p.m. over at Umstad Hall. Call now. First caller gets it. 330-821-1310. Again, that number to call, 330-821-1310. If you're the first caller, you will win a pair of tickets to the 2025 National High School Football Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. 330-821-1310. Be caller number one now, and you will get those tickets, and I promise you, you will have an outstanding time. Caller one gets the tickets, 330-821-1310. All right, we're going to take a break. We got the news. We got the weather coming up. On the other side, we'll check out the U.S. Open leaderboard, and we'll check in with the head coach of the Glen Oak Golden Eagles, Scott Garcia, on the big playoff changes announced yesterday by the OHSAA. That and a whole lot more coming up on the Sam Bourquin Show.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. Israeli Defense Forces have identified missiles launched from Iran towards Israel in apparent retaliation for Israel's attack on Iranian military and nuclear facilities and officials overnight. Sirens are sounding over Israel, urging people to seek shelter. ABC News Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raditz.
We saw a lot of smoke on the ground in Tel Aviv after one of those interceptions. It looked like one of those either interceptors or one of the missiles themselves. That smoke right there, where that landed and caused that smoke, I'm sure is of some concern right now.
Israel's emergency services says at least 21 people have been injured. In a video message, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the Iranian people, saying Israel's attack targeted the Iranian regime he said oppresses them.
Brave people of Iran, your light will defeat the darkness. I'm with you. The people of Israel are with you.
About 200 Marines have moved into Los Angeles to protect federal property and personnel. Some troops were seen outside a federal building by midday today. Major General Scott Sherman, commander of Task Force 51, who is overseeing the 4,700 troops deployed, said the Marines have finished training on civil disturbance and would begin operations at noon local time in Los Angeles. The Marines will help replace some of the 2,000 National Guard troops that have been on the streets of the city protecting federal property since last week when immigration raids set off protests. India's Civil Aviation Authority has directed Air India to conduct precautionary inspections on their Boeing 787 aircraft with General Electric Gen X engines after Thursday's crash that left 241 passengers dead, along with several people on the ground. In a video message, airline CEO Campbell Wilson today said he had visited the crash site.
I also met key stakeholders in the government and assured them that Air India is committed to full cooperation with those working on the ground and to the investigations.
The plane's digital flight data recorder was recovered from a rooftop near the crash site and has been sent to India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. Jurors in the second murder trial of Karen Reed have begun deliberating after weeks of testimony. The highly divisive case has hinged on the prosecution's theory of jaded love turned deadly that is countered by a defense claim that a cast of tight-knit Boston area law enforcement killed a fellow police officer. Reed is accused of fatally striking her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her SUV and leaving him to die in the snow outside a house party where other local police and a federal agent were closing out a night of drinking in 2022. It's 77 degrees on Alliance at 432. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For your Friday afternoon, mostly cloudy skies with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 80. Showers and thunderstorms likely again overnight with a low dipping to 64. Saturday, a possibility of showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon and early evening hours, a high near 75. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Don't miss the Canton Concert Band live at the Canton Palace Theater, Wednesday, June 18th at 7 p.m. Experience the power and passion of one of the area's oldest musical ensembles, and admission is free. Join us for an unforgettable night of all your favorite patriotic pop, show tunes, and more when the Canton Concert Band takes the stage this Wednesday at 7 with their free concert for the community at the historic Canton Palace.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back to the fill-in-the-blank Friday edition of the Sam Bourquin Show. Today's fill-in-the-blank question is, if you could have one superpower, it would be blank. What superpower would you like to have? 330-821-1310. You can text it at 330-924-7088. I want to thank Jeff Linda Smith from Central Catholic and Ron Johnson from Salem for joining us here to talk a little OHSAA state playoff football changes that came down the wire yesterday. We're going to check in with Scotty Garcia of Gleno coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Don't forget, on this day in sports history, coming up at around 5:27 today. It looks like it's getting ready to rain. I'm telling you, I thought we were going to make it through the day, but it looks like it might be going to rain here in a little bit. Don't have to worry about that for the Guardians. They're out in Seattle this weekend to take on the Mariners. Seattle, kind of like Cleveland, it's kind of hovered, right? Seattle is 33-34. The Guardians are 35-32. This is game one of a 3-game series. You know, I was looking at, I don't know why I do this, but I'm in the habit now, so I can't help it. I always look at the wild card standings because I don't think we're going to win the division because we're 8.5 out. And there's time, but still, I'm looking at the wild card, and right now we're not even in the wild card yet. Toronto, Minnesota, and Tampa Bay are ahead of Cleveland. The Guardians are a half game out of the wild card. And then Kansas City, LA, Seattle, all within 2.5 games. Boston, 3 out. Texas, 3.5. And then after that, forget it. Once you're getting to Baltimore and the A's and the White Sox, they're not going to be a factor. But, I mean, just think. Texas at 33 and 36. And it's June 13th. And we've got 8 teams vying still that are on the outside looking in that have a shot to make it in. So that's what the wild card has done the last couple of years. Remember, they added another wild card, and that kind of spruced things up a little bit as well. So things are getting interesting, but again, still a long way to go. But you don't want to screw around. You don't want to screw around too much longer. Okay, you really don't want to do that. I am going to hand this over to Mr. Rainsberg to make sure we get the right digits there. Pretty. You knocked me off the air there.
I did not.
Well, actually, you hit my microphone switch. There we go. Now we're back. So, yeah, the wild card thing has been a huge help. Checking out the U.S. Open leaderboard, Maxwell Moldovan is still 7 over par. I think he's about on 12 or 13 now at Oakmont, and it's just brutal. I mean, the golfers are really struggling. No crazy weather there. But I don't know. I don't know if Max is going to be able to get there. All right, I'm sending a coach a little text that we're calling him right now. Even the big guys are struggling today. But the cuts looks like it's going to be +4. Maybe 5, but it looks like it's going to be +4. And we'll update the big leaderboard for you before we go, maybe about 5:45, 5:50 today. And we'll see what's going on for the weekend at Oakmont. Again, they were expecting some weather later today, and then tomorrow could be really iffy, and Sunday not too bad. But we're rooting for Max. Come on, buddy. Still, that was so awesome yesterday when he had that eagle on number 1. I mean, how good is that? You're stepping up to the tee. You're like, oh, God, it's Oakmont. Look at this monster. This is going to be a wild day. And then all of a sudden, you eagle on number 1. You get to strut a little bit, right? You're 2 under par, man. You're going to the second hole. You're like, Oakmont, Schmokemont. Well, Oakmont's a tough cookie. Really is. But we're rooting Max on. No question about that. Let me see here. Yeah, the number +4, they say it's likely to rise. This is from Jay Busby on Yahoo. The last time the U.S. Open was played at Oakmont, the cut line was at +6. So that's a little better news there. Some in danger of missing the cut: Jordan Spieth, Tony Finau, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Cantlay, Shane Lowry, and Justin Thomas. Scotty Scheffler hasn't missed a major cut since 2022. So this course is a beast. The top 60 players and ties will make it to the weekend round at Oakmont. So, hey, could be +4, could be +5, could be 6. We'll see how that goes. All right, we have got a how shall I word this? We got a little situation down in Columbus with Ohio State and with Ross Bjork, the new athletic director. He, like a lot of Ohio State fans, are getting sick and tired of playing games at noon on Saturdays. They're tired of the Fox big noon kickoff. They were getting sick of it last year, and they were getting a little sick of it the year before. And I get it. You want to tailgate? If you're coming from out of town, like a lot of people have season tickets that obviously don't live in Columbus, so they got to drive in. Well, think about a noon kickoff. Think about the crazy day that is a game day down at the Ohio State University. You better be leaving your house at 2 or 3 in the morning or 4, especially if you're going to go down and tailgate a little bit. Got to get your spot. It may take you 2, may take you a 3-hour drive to get there. Get your spot, get set up. Sun's already up. 7:30, 8 o'clock. The game kicks at noon. That doesn't give you a lot of time. So people are really upset about that. And they're really upset about some of the marquee, just for instance, the game with Texas this year. When I saw that scheduled, I said, oh, Saturday night, 8 o'clock, done deal. I didn't even think about it going to noon. Never crossed my mind. Never. That's just kind of what we've been used to, right? Notre Dame does the same thing. Of course, they got the contract with NBC, but, their marquee games, especially if they're at home, you betcha, 7 o'clock, 7:30, prime time Saturday night. You know the deal there. But Fox, man, they just, and I get it. I get it. They fell in love with Ohio State last year. I mean, it seemed like every big game was at noon, whether it was non-conference or if it was, Big Ten. There's even been a couple of games over the years where I thought, no way does this deserve the big noon window. It was against a non-conference opponent. By God, there it was, 12 o'clock, Fox, Ohio State versus Team X. And I think it got to the point last year, I think we had 4 or 5 games at noon. And let's just say if you're Ohio State, you'd like to get 7 home games a year. Sometimes you get 6. On an occasion, they've had 8. I think those days are probably over. So more than half, 75% of your games all of a sudden now are at noon. So there's no anticipation for that Saturday night, under the lights, prime time, fireworks, red out, getting all the tailgating in, the big buildup. You get to watch the college games battle starting at noon all day, and now by 8 o'clock, you're ready for your team to go out there and play ball. And that magic, so to speak, it all gets taken away if you're playing at noon. If you're a player, I try to put myself in the player's position. And again, they're, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, some a little older than others. If I was playing college football, this is just me, I don't know if I would be a fan of playing at noon, because you're getting up a lot earlier. And I know if I knew I had a big game the following day, it was hard enough for me to maybe get sleep then. Now I know if I'm playing at noon, that means I got to probably be at the stadium at what? 8:30, 9? We're probably going to have a team breakfast at like 6:30 or 7. And I know my head's not hitting the pillow before midnight. I'm going to be all, jazzed up and ready to go play the next day. So you're not getting good sleep, right? You're slowly walking to the cafeteria line for your team meal on Saturday morning. Then you got your team meetings. Then you start to get dressed a little bit. You go out to specialties. If you're going to kick, you're going to throw, you're going to whatever. You go back in, you get fully dressed, you come back out, go through your position meetings. You got your, you're stretching out, your calisthenics, your running plays, you're taking it all in. And then you go back in again. Then it's showtime. Here comes team, and on the field you come. And now it's 12:05, 12:10, and you're ready to go. I can't imagine that's easy on the players. I can't imagine that's easy. I think the 3:30 games, perfect. The nighttime games, the gripe used to be what? Oh, we got to sit around and wait all day. And a lot of the coaches didn't like that. They didn't like that. It's too much time waiting, anticipating the kickoff for your game. You've worked so hard all week. You practiced, you prepared, you did this, you did that. You're ready to go at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:30. Nope. So you gotta relax a little bit. You gotta take it easy. Keep the players off their feet. Rest them up. But you don't want to get too lazy, so to speak. You want to be ready to go play ball. Once that ball's on the tee, let's go. So I'm interested to see what the NCAA, what the Big Ten, what the Big Ten Network, what Fox, how are they going to answer what Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjork has sent to them? He wants change, and he wants it now. I'd be willing to say he's going to get a little bit of it. I don't think Fox is going to completely kowtow, but you might start to see over the next 2, 4, 5 years plus, because I don't see the contract with Fox going away. Okay, I think it's been really good for them. The numbers are incredible. Most of the time, they are beating ESPN head-to-head with noon kickoffs on Saturday. And this is with ESPN's College Game Day. You know how good that is. Now, Fox Big Noon's not bad. The pregame's not bad. The Urban Meyer, Brady Quinn, it's not bad. It's pretty good. So that's not going to go away. But I think you will start to see some of Ohio State's big marquee games coming up here. I know Texas is a home and home. I think Miami, Florida maybe is a home and home coming up down the road. They got some other big games coming up. I think you'll start to see those at night. And whether it's on the road or whether it's at Ohio Stadium in Columbus, I think you'll see those games at 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Just a hunch. But I guarantee you Ross Bjork is going to put the squeeze on him because he is listening to the people in Columbus. He is listening to the boosters. He's listening to the donors. He's listening to the high rollers, and he's listening to the fans. So I think you might see. I think you might see some big changes there. What do you think? 330-821-1310. You like those big noon games? You like those 12 nooners? You like the 3:30, or you like the prime time? We all love our college football, and we'll take it whenever we can get it. But the big question is, what time do you prefer to watch your favorite team? I don't care if it's Ohio State, Notre Dame, USC, Texas, Florida, Penn State, Nebraska. They're going to be there. They're going to watch. Those are power teams. Those are power brands. I also think there's a certain time that they like to watch the magic happen. We'll kick that around here a little bit. We'll take a break. 10 minutes till the top of the hour, 330-821-1310. You can text the show as well at 330-924-7088. Don't forget, a little bit later on, Today in Sports History. That's coming up right before the 5:30 break. And it's also a fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Stay with us, 1310 WDPN.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below. You take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly. Get on board. Get on board.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we're back, 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday. We got On This Day in Sports History coming up, and we'll put a wrap on things around 6 o'clock today. Hope you all have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you're having a good, relaxing weekend. Maybe get a little golf in. Maybe, hey, whatever you want to get into this weekend. But happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. All right, here we go. Let's bring in Scott Garcia, head football coach of the Glen Oak Golden Eagles. Kind enough to join us on this Friday to talk a little high school football playoff change here in the state of Ohio. Coach G, good afternoon. How you doing?
Real good. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on today. I appreciate it. We've had a couple coaches on today. We had Trucker over at Central, was able to get a hold of old Ron Johnson over at Salem, and everybody's had like a different opinion, a different view of the news that came. So I'm really anxious to hear what your thoughts are. And when it officially came down from the OHSAA about the changes going from 16 to 12, possibly hosting 3 home games. There's going to be buys in the first round. What are your thoughts on all that went down yesterday?
Well, I think it's a step in the right direction, but I was still happy with the 8 teams. I think when you have 16, it means just not only cheapened it, the teams on the bottom end are, they don't want to go on and play the number 1 seed. And I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I was the same way. I loved it. I loved when we made the jump from 4 to 8. I thought that was absolutely perfect. And then everything went haywire when 2020 got here. I guess it's going to be a trial. They're going to come back and talk about how it goes at the end of the year, and then they'll probably make another decision, and we'll have to go with it. But 8 is great. We'll probably never see 8 again. I'm certainly hoping we don't see 16 again. Is there any way that would happen in your mind?
They made a lot of money off of it. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, that's 100% what it came down to. I forget what the number was, but it was somewhere between $2 and $3 million that first round made.
Yeah.
And I've been on both ends of it. We've been the highest seed, we've been the lowest seed.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're the lowest seed, it's not, you have a horrible season and they stick you in playoffs against St. Ed's or St. Ignatius or, one of those. And, it's not good. You want your season to end.
Yeah, it's like, oh, here's your reward. Now get on the bus for an hour and a half and go up and play, one of the best teams in the country. No, it's not.
It's not good for the number one seed either.
It's not. It's not. And the spin out of Columbus was, well, we want to give the schools, the kids, the opportunity and to build memories of a lifetime and this and that. I'm like, what the hell kind of memory is it to go get smoked in a running clock and maybe get a couple kids hurt? I mean, that's not a memory that I want.
No, not at all. It may differ by divisions, but in Division I, the top 8, that was plenty. And, you may have an upset every now and then. It was perfect, I thought.
Yeah, I did too. What are your thoughts on the top 4 getting a bye?
That's another one. It's a struggle for, you have a good season and you're rolling along, and then all of a sudden you have this break. It's like, what do you do with those kids for 2 weeks? You don't have anybody to prepare for. It upsets your schedule, your routine, and it may hurt some of those teams.
Yeah, I'm thinking, and I don't know how many times it's happened to you in your coaching career, whether it was an assistant or a head coach. And let's just say that school X had to cancel a game, or they had to forfeit, or maybe a levy didn't pass and the game was taken off the board. And you're like, okay, what are we going to do the rest of this week? How are we going to keep these kids focused in practice, knowing that come Friday night, the ball's not going to go on the tee? So I can certainly see that as being a detriment maybe in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question, especially like I said, you're used to a set routine, the preparation, the days of the week, and it just throws everything off.
Scott Garcia, head coach of Glen Oak, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. We got Coach for about another 90 seconds before we get to the top of the hour. I am the firm belief, and I hope this goes back. It probably won't. I think everything should be wrapped up, Coach, in 15 weeks. Regular season, playoffs, crown your champion. 16 to me is too long. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I've done the 15 weeks before, and it's a grind. And, especially when you have, over at Massillon, those guys, they went on I don't know, 3-4 year run, maybe even longer than that, where they're going 14, 15, 16 weeks. And it burned out a lot of coaches. They lost a lot of coaches over the last 4 or 5
that's
years.
I never even thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not good for the kids. I mean, it's an NFL season.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it was Coach Johnson brought up the fact that this year in the college football playoffs, they went to the bye and 4 of the top 8 seeds lost their first game.
Exactly.
So it's like, where exactly are we going here? Well, Coach, I appreciate
you. That had something to do with it.
Yo, absolutely. Positively. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on for a few minutes today. Happy Father's Day to you. Have a great weekend, and I'm sure we'll see you over at the St. Harlumbus coming up here in a couple of months.
That's coming up quick.
I know. Be here before we know it. Enjoy the summer, my man.
All right. Thanks a lot.
You got it. Scott Garcia, Glen Oak, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show. All right. We got one more big hour to go. It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday. It's also a Friday the 13th. Be careful if you're out there. We'll come back after the news and weather. Stay with us.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. Iran is vowing further retaliation after launching dozens of ballistic missiles toward Israel. It follows Israel's strikes inside Iran, killing top military leaders and scientists and targeting nuclear facilities. The U.S. says it assisted Israel in intercepting missiles. ABC's Martha Raddatz says it appears some missiles hit.
We saw a lot of smoke on the ground in Tel Aviv after one of those interceptions. It looked like one of those either interceptors or one of the missiles themselves, that smoke right there, where that landed and caused that smoke, I'm sure is of some concern right now.
Israel's emergency services say at least 41 people have been injured. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in a video message addressing Iranian residents.
Brave people of Iran, your light will defeat the darkness. I'm with you. The people of Israel are with you.
The White House says President Trump and Netanyahu spoke today. This is ABC News.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains June 13th through the 23rd. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. A Stark County Sheriff's deputy who shot 2 stray dogs in Canton is out of the job. Sheriff Eric Weisburn says the deputy was terminated after an initial review of the incident. He cited a failure to follow proper protocols for handling aggressive animals. The deputy's name was not released. A resident of the 800 block of 6th Street Southwest reported Tuesday that the dogs had bitten her grandson. A second person was also bitten. The deputy, who worked for the dog warden division, responded and spotted the dogs in the 800 block of 5th Street Southwest. He fatally shot one of the canines and wounded the second. The injured animal was treated and is expected to recover. The dog's owner was cited for allowing them to run at large. A Smith Township man charged with aggravated murder will stand trial November 3rd. The date for 33-year-old Nicholas Cunningham was set Wednesday during a pretrial hearing in Mahoning County Common Pleas Court. He is also charged with violating a protection order and aggravated burglary in the slaying of 44-year-old Gina Wade of Smith Township. She was found dead inside her Courtney Road home in October 2023. Cunningham pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity and underwent 2 evaluations. He was treated at Heartland Behavioral Health in Massillon and ruled competent in April. Neither the defense nor the prosecution is seeking an additional evaluation. A pretrial hearing is scheduled for August 18th. A Canton woman is headed to prison for allowing her husband to physically abuse her 4-year-old daughter. 26-year-old Brittany Morris was sentenced Wednesday by Stark County Common Pleas Judge Krissa Hartnett to 3 years behind bars. Morris pleaded guilty to 4 counts of child endangering. Canton police said her daughter was taken to Mercy Hospital, then to Akron Children's with multiple bruises May 1st. She also was severely underweight. Court records state Morris has a history of ignoring child abuse in her home. Her 24-year-old husband is on probation for child endangering and was the main suspect in the abuse of Morris's 1-year-old son in 2023. He has pleaded not guilty to child endangering. The Marlington Board of Education is being asked to pass a so-called safe zone resolution. Retired teacher Kathleen Purdy said Thursday every student should have the opportunity to learn without fear and distress resulting from what she called harsh immigration enforcement. The resolution would spell out reassurances for students, procedures for responding to law enforcement, and information and support for families and staff. Superintendent Dan Swisher said replacement of the high school roof began this week and resurfacing of parking lots will begin later this month. A lighting project is about 75% complete. Birdie and Folk scholarships were awarded to 43 seniors and graduates. The Canton Local School District will soon have a new superintendent. The Board of Education is expected to name Larry Tosh to the post during Monday's meeting. He will succeed Brett Yeagley, who was hired last month as superintendent of the Lake Local School District. Tosh has nearly 30 years of experience. He has served as principal of Northwest High School since 2016, following 4 years as principal of Northwest Middle School. The Royal Docks Fighter House and Kitchen in Plain Township has closed its doors. The location at the Oakwood Square Plaza is listed by commercial real estate company NAI Spring. Royal Docks recently closed its original tap room in Jackson Township, citing a legal dispute involving a failed business relationship with a prospective investor. A Cleveland location also closed. The repository reports the brewery has consolidated its production and retail, and Royal Docks Brewhouse and Cannery on Wales Avenue Northwest in Jackson Township remains open. Columbiana County Commissioners have approved an increase of rates paid by customers of multiple sewer districts served by the county. Wednesday's action follows a recent proposal from County Engineer Bert Dawson and County Chief Deputy Sanitary Engineer Troy Graft. Rates will increase 10% in July, 10% in July 2026, and 5% in July 2027. Dawson and Graft said the last rate hike was in 2017. They cited rising operating and equipment costs. Various expenses were cut in recent years. A known gang member arrested during a sex sting in Salem has taken a plea deal. 34-year-old Eric Stewart of Ravenna pleaded no contest Thursday in Columbiana County Municipal Court to engaging in prostitution, possession of criminal tools, and obstructing official business. Judge Kelly Linger gave him a suspended jail sentence with credit for time served. He will spend 18 days behind bars. Stewart was also sentenced to 3 years probation. He was arrested earlier this month. Police said Stewart responded to an undercover ad and agreed to pay for sex. He attempted to flee after seeing officers, but was apprehended apprehended a short time later. A Struthers man who allegedly caused a deadly two-vehicle collision is the subject of new charges. The Mahoning County grand jury issued a superseding indictment for 65-year-old Walter Bolt. He's now charged with 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, aggravated vehicular assault, 2 counts of OVI, and 1 count of operating a vehicle under the influence of a controlled substance. Bolt has pleaded not guilty. A pretrial hearing is set for July 9th. Highway Patrol said 44-year-old Angela Brown and her 15-year-old son Jason Daff died March 3rd when Bolt's pickup slammed into their car on Route 170 in Springfield Township. Another son was injured and is recovering. Common Pleas Judge Scott Krischbaum on Wednesday approved a motion from prosecutors to reschedule a suppression hearing from June 17th to June 23rd. Bolt's defense attorney opposed the continuance. He filed a motion to suppress blood evidence in the case taken after the wreck. An arrest has been made in the death of a Warren man. A body found in East Cleveland February 4th was later identified as 46-year-old Javar King. He was reported missing by family the same day. East Cleveland police arrested 28-year-old Nathaniel Crockett Thursday on an aggravated murder charge. He had been charged with arson by Cleveland police February 21st. King's body was found in a burned-out car on Sherwood Road. The vehicle belonged to one of his relatives. The Trumbull County grand jury has declined to indict a Youngstown mayoral candidate on felony charges. A no bill for 54-year-old John White was issued Thursday. He had faced disrupting public service and domestic violence charges resulting from his arrest in Liberty Township. Police picked up White May 2nd after they were called to a home on Tibbetswick Road for a domestic disturbance. A woman said he was breaking things around the house and took her car keys and threw them onto the roof of the garage. She also accused White of taking her phone and throwing it into a ditch when she attempted to call 911. White denied the allegations. The U.S. is up to 1,197 confirmed measles cases this year. Arizona declared a new outbreak this week, while one in Texas, the largest in the nation, continued to slow. Ohio confirmed its outbreaks are over. Other states with active outbreaks include Colorado, Illinois, Kansas, Montana, New Mexico, North Dakota, and Oklahoma. 2 elementary school-aged children and an adult have died from measles this year. Measles is caused by a highly contagious virus that's airborne. It's preventable through vaccines and has been considered eliminated from the U.S. since 2000. A 23-year-old woman is in custody accused of killing a young woman at Mill Creek Falls Wednesday morning. 23-year-old Lavia Paul of Cleveland faces murder charges. The victim was identified as 25-year-old Kiara Jackson. Cleveland Metro Parks Police said Jackson was shot near the drive into the park shortly before 4 a.m. The victim's family said Jackson was at the park with a group of people before the shooting. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 42,197, down 710 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 256 points lower at 19,406, and the S&P 500 closed at 5,976, down 68 points. We have the following funeral announcement. The service for 104-year-old Helen M. DeStefan, formerly of Alliance, will be held Monday, June 23rd at 10 a.m. at St. Joseph Catholic Church. Arrangements by Scherer Sterling Skivalaki. It's 70 degrees in Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For the afternoon, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise mostly cloudy skies with a high around 80. For tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely once more, a low near 64. Showers and thunderstorms, a possibility once more Saturday afternoon and into the early evening hours, a high of 75. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Got big dreams of a better career? Whether you're looking to learn new skills, land your next job, or refine your resume, Ohio Means Jobs, Stark and Tuscarawas counties is here to help you turn that daydream into your day job. We will provide everything you need to succeed, from resume assistance to job search guidance and everything in between. Call us or visit our website at omjwork.com to learn more, because your future is closer than you think.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Held in by Verhage. Now across. The truck with it. Score! Bouchard with it for the Oilers. Now Ekholm. Clock closing. Cross-ice pass. Draisaitl towards the net. Score! Leon Draisaitl in overtime. The Edmonton Oilers tie the series 2 games apiece. It's a base hit. McNair around third. They'll score easily. The Rockies have walked off the Giants.
Welcome back. It is hour 3 of the Sam Bourquin Show right here on AM 1310 WDPN. Streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. Welcome to the weekend, everybody. Early happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you have a great day on Sunday. I had no idea. It was pouring here like 15, 20 minutes ago. I'm over. Now, we don't have any windows in the studio here, so if I want to know what's going on in the outside world, you got to take a little walk outside the studio, go out into the lobby, and check it out. I had no idea. I'm in here going, hey, it might rain. Looks like it might rain. It poured. It poured for about 15 or 20 minutes. We have puddles right now that you could do the freestyle. We could do like a 50 free right now. So if you're out and about, especially in the Alliance area, the east side of the county, please be careful and drive safely. Welcome to the program, everybody. Thanks for coming by. Hope your weekend is off to a great start. We certainly enjoy you having some time with us Monday through Friday, 3 until 6 here on 1310 WDPN. Don't forget, you can always listen to the show on 1310 WDPN, the Twitter page, WDPN's Facebook page. You can also watch it, too. You can get us on the Q92 radio Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube channel. There's a lot of different ways you can hang out with us 3 until 6, Monday through Friday. And don't wait until 3 o'clock. Start your day with us with Rex in the morning beginning at 6 a.m. He plays some great music, got little anecdotes going for you, having some fun. Rex in the mornings at 6. Then John Tesh comes in 10 until 3. Really cool show. Again, music, just some fun facts, trivia, just interesting things you might not even think about. All right, John Tesh, 10 until 3. And then we're in the Sam Bourquin Show, 3 until 6, Monday through Friday, right here, 1310 WDPN. Don't forget, on this day in sports history coming up at 5:26. That's in about 10 minutes from now. I want to thank my high school football coaches for coming on today and talking a little shop. We were talking about the high school football playoff changes with the OHSAA and just talking some ball. I want to thank Jeff Linda-Smith, Canton Central Catholic, for coming on, Ron Johnson from Salem, and, of course, Scott Garcia over at Glen Oak. And I want to congratulate Coach Garcia. His son getting married tomorrow. So congratulations and have a great wedding day tomorrow. All right? Man. Getting old. Not coach, me. Just thinking about the coaches that I know, and I know pretty much how old they are. And now they've got sons and daughters going off and getting married and starting their new life, and it is just crazy. Father time does not stand still for anybody. That's for sure. The Guardians are in Seattle this weekend to take on the Mariners. And I don't want to be on here. Oh, huge series. These are must wins. We're not even in the wild card. We'll never catch Detroit. I don't want to sound like that. We're 35-32. We're hovering around 500. Just like Seattle is hovering around 500. The Mariners are 33-34. They have a losing record at home. They're 16-17. How about this? Guardians on the road, 16-17. Something's got to give tonight. First pitch a little bit after 10 o'clock tonight out in Seattle. And then Saturday, Sunday. Then it's back on the plane. And then it's San Francisco. Oh, that's a ballpark I want to go to. I don't even know what they call it now. It used to be Pac Bell Park. I don't know if it's AT&T now. I don't care what they call it, but it looks fantastic on television. Or maybe it's Oracle Park now. I don't even know. These corporate names, get out of here. But that's a place where I want to go. I want to go see a game in San Francisco. So that's where the Guardians will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I believe they're off Thursday. And then they go to going to play the A's. And for so many years, you went to Oakland. You played at the Coliseum. No, not anymore. Now you're going to play at a AAA ballpark in Sacramento. So that's where the Guardians will be. And then they'll come back home, and they'll get ready. But I was just looking at the standings in the American League. New York leads the East at 42-25. Closest team there is Toronto. They're 4.5 out. Then I looked at the Central. Detroit is 45-25. They are 8 up on Minnesota, 8.5 over Cleveland. And then in the West, the Astros, 38-30. They are 4.5 over the Angels, 4.5 over Seattle, 5.5 over Texas. So most of I would say the East and the West of the divisions are still up for grabs. I don't think anybody is going to catch Detroit. I just don't. And how about the job? Former Jackson Polar Bear and Ohio State Buckeye. How about what Mr. Dingler is doing with the Tigers? I mean, he is playing a lot behind the plate. He threw a guy out yesterday. Of all the social media things, I ran across this on TikTok, and I forget who it was against, but somebody was trying to steal first, and it was like an outside and low pitch. And Dingler, with a backhand, caught the ball. He was like almost falling this way, down to the right, to the ground, reared back and fired a seed to second base and got the guy by like 2 steps. I was like, whoa, that's pretty impressive. So shout out to what he's doing, to Jackson, Ohio State baseball. You guys got to be very proud of what Dylan's doing on the baseball field. I want to go see him play too. I have not, believe it or not, I haven't been to a Comerica Park yet. I was at Old Tiger Stadium. I've never been to Comerica Park. And I know the Guardians are going to go there at least one more time, and I think they're coming into Cleveland at least one more time. So I want to see him play in person because he's having a heck of a year. So the Guardians are 35-32, and I just kind of want to throw out to you: is this what they are? Is this what it's going to be? We're 67 games in to 162. Remember what Coach Bill Parcells used to say: "You are what your record says you are." Is this what the Guardians are? Are they gonna hover between 3 or 4 games over 500 and maybe 2 or 3 games under 500? Is this what it's going to be? Is that all there is? Is that it? Or are they going to catch fire? Are they going to make a move? Are guys going to step up? Is Gabriel Arias going to be more consistent? Love Gabby. Just got to be more consistent. Manzardo, got to be more consistent. You know, they took John Kensington and they shipped him down to Columbus, okay? Is this what it's going to be? And obviously you're going to have to rely on your pitching. Shane Bieber had a setback about, 7-8 days ago? You don't know what's going on there. You don't know when he's going to make his next rehab start or where it will even be. How long can Hosey and Quan carry this team? It's got to be driving Stephen Vogt up the wall. You've got 9 guys. You can't have 23% of them doing something, and the rest are not. Who's going to step up? And here's what's going to happen. This is what always happens. Manzardo is going to get red hot. Arias will get red hot. Bo Naylor will get red hot. And guess what? Quan and Hosey will go into a little bit of a slump. That's just how it happens. They won't be long. It won't be prolonged slump. It won't be like a 2 for 22, but it might be a 3 for 20. And then when they figure it out, then the other guys will go back the other way. And then we'll get another pitcher hurt. Maybe that's just what it's going to be. I hope not. Again, the old adage in Major League Baseball, it's a marathon, not a sprint. But we're 67 games in now. I've always been the guy, I've always been the baseball fan, the baseball person, the broadcaster that says, get me to the 4th of July, and then I'll know what I've got. Then I'll know what I've got. So what? 3 weeks till the 4th of July? 77. That'll put us about halfway. That'll put us between 80 and 82 games if we don't lose any more rain. And then you'll know who we are. And if you're still 8.5, 9 out by then I say, okay, well, that's it. Now we're solely going to be focused on the wild card. Now you're going to be scoreboard watching every day. What are the Royals doing? What are the Angels doing? What's Seattle doing? What's Boston doing? What's Texas doing? You quit worrying about Detroit at that time. You worry about yourself and you start the scoreboard watch a little bit. And don't kid yourself. They're watching. They're looking now. Front office is looking now because they're trying to figure out, do we buy? Do we sell? Do we stay? Those conversations are going on right now. About an hour and 10 minutes to the northwest. What do you think? Do you think they're going to pull the trigger on something? Trade deadline coming up? About less than a month? I think the trade deadline's coming up. They're pretty close too. Guardians going to sell? Are they in the market to buy, or are they going to stand pat? History tells us that they will stand pat, or they will sell. I'm trying to remember the last time we bought in at a deadline. That's just not the way it rolls in Cleveland. What do you think? Guards, are they what the record says they are at 35 and 32? Are they a 500 team? Do they have the ability to pick things up? Will they pick it up? Or have you already turned your attention to football? Because I know some of you have. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. I just got the latest update from the U.S. Open. I think Max is getting close to being done for the day. Let's see. And I'm trying to figure out. It looks like the cut now is going to be either +4 or +5. That's what it's looking like right now. Let's see. Max is, where is Max at? +9 for the tournament. +9 for the tournament. And he's got a couple of holes to go. Okay. Doesn't look like he's going to make the cut. But still, to qualify for the U.S. Open, 4 years in a row, he's 23, going to be 24 years old. Still got an incredibly bright future ahead of him. He'll finish up today, he'll learn, and he'll move on, and he'll win. He'll win, but probably not going to make the cut this year. All right, it is coming up on 5:27. You know what time that is. 5:27.
Should we cue the music, Sam?
Absolutely. You know what time it is. It's that time for On This Day in Sports History. One of our favorite things to do. Not a lot today. Not a lot. Not as much as we've had the last couple of days. But here we go. 1940, the Cubs and Red Sox became the first teams to play at Cooperstown's Doubleday Field. On this day in 1948, the Yankees officially retired Babe Ruth's number 3, and they sent it where? Right to the Hall of Fame. I found this interesting. I forgot about this. 1978, on this day, the NHL Board of Governors unanimously agreed to a merger of the Cleveland Barons and the Minnesota North Stars. Remember that? Also on this day in 1997, we'll see how good my pronunciation skills are. Vladimir Konstantinov and Vyacheslav Fedosov. I did it. Both of the Detroit Red Wings were severely injured in a horrible car accident. Audio time. Here we go. On this day in 1989, the Detroit Pistons won their first NBA title. They beat the Lakers in 4.
Last year, the Pistons had a 3-2 lead. Couldn't win one of the last two. Now they'll do it. World champs.
Detroit Pistons world champs. That was Dick Stockton on the call on the CBS back in 1989. How about this crazy stuff? On this day in 1991, speaking of the U.S. Open, it was the first round of the U.S. Open golf tournament. A spectator was killed by a lightning strike. Let's go way back in the day. ABC's Jim McKay was on the scene.
Jim McKay at the United States Open Golf Championship, where reality has intruded on this fairy tale competition this afternoon. Shortly before 1 o'clock this afternoon, while play was well underway, a thunderstorm struck here. In the midst of the thunderstorm, 6 people were affected by a lightning strike just to the left of the 11th tee here. Of the 6 people, all male, 2 were taken to St. Francis Hospital in Shakopee. 1 man has died of cardiac arrest. The other is in critical condition and has been transferred to Mount Ramsey Hospital. The other 4 were taken.
This day in 1991, that was a terrible accident at the U.S. Open. On this day in 1997, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and the Chicago Bulls won their 5th NBA championship.
5 seconds remaining in regulation. The inbound. Pippen rolls it to Kukoc. Their 5th championship in the last 7 years.
There was the almighty Marv Albert with the call on NBC. Did you hear the roar of the crowd at Chicago Stadium? Man, we don't get that anymore. But the Bulls won their 5th title in 7 years on this day in 1997. More championships hoisted this year. On this day in 2002, the Detroit Red Wings won their 10th Stanley Cup. After the game, Red Wings coach Scotty Bowman announced his retirement. Wow.
Scotty Bowman will get his 9th as a coach. Dominic Hasek, Robitaille will win their first. The Detroit Red Wings have won the 2002 Stanley Cup.
And Joe Louis Arena goes wild. Gary Thorne on the call. That'll wrap up today in sports history on the Sam Bourquin Show. 1310 WDPN. The news and weather is next.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. Iranian missiles have struck Israel in retaliation for deadly Israeli airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites and military leaders. The wail of air raid sirens and the rumble of explosions could be heard throughout Israel. Associated Press journalists documented explosions as Iranian rockets hit Tel Aviv, the commercial hub of Israel. So far, authorities say at least 21 people have been injured. Hours earlier and again this evening, Israel launched strikes across Iran that targeted its nuclear program, killing several top military officers and raising the prospect of an all-out war. In a video message, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the Iranian people, saying Israel's attack did not target them.
Israel's fight is not with you. It's not with you, the brave people of Iran, whom we respect and admire. Our fight is with our common enemy, a murderous regime that both oppresses you and impoverishes you.
United Nations nuclear chief Rafael Grossi tells an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council that Israeli strikes destroyed the above-ground section of Iran's main nuclear facility. He said today that all the electrical infrastructure and emergency power generators were destroyed, as well as a section of the facility where uranium was enriched up to 60%. The main centrifuge facility underground did not appear to have been hit, but the loss of power could have damaged the infrastructure there. Marines are now hitting the streets of Los Angeles as part of President Trump's military response to protests over ICE raids in that city. ABC's Alex Stone has more.
The first 200 of 700 U.S. Marines hitting the streets of Los Angeles, joining the 4,100 National Guard troops called up by President Trump. Last night, a U.S. district judge ruling President Trump illegally deployed those National Guard troops, the judge ordering Trump to return command of the Guardsmen to California Governor Gavin Newsom.
So that there's no invasion, there's no rebellion. It's absurd.
But then only a few hours later, a federal appeals court putting that order on hold after a late-night appeal from the Trump administration, ruling President Trump can keep the California National Guard deployed for now.
It's 79 degrees in Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For the rest of your Friday afternoon, mostly cloudy skies, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high around 80. Showers and thunderstorms likely again overnight, a low dipping to 64. Saturday, keep the umbrella handy. Showers and thunderstorms, a possibility during the afternoon and early evening, a high reaching 75. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below, you take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we're back. Hope your weekend is off to a great start. Early happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Enjoy your day on Sunday. We're going to be with you until 6 o'clock tonight, and then we'll be on a little respite, so to speak. And we'll be back with you Monday at 3 right here on AM 1310 WDPN. It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday. Today's question is, if you could have one superpower, it would be blank. If you could have one superpower, what would it be? Would you like to be invisible? Would you like to be able to do things at the speed of light? Would you like to be able to heal? What would your superpower be? Let us know on all of our social media platforms, Sam 1310 WDPN on Twitter, on Facebook, the Q92 Radio Facebook page, and YouTube channel as well. Make sure you check us out. Okay, what do you say? Like it, share our page, follow our pages, interact with us. We'd love to do that with you every day. It just makes the show a lot more fun. People engaged, and that's a win-win for everybody. All right, the U.S. Open leaderboard. We told you Max Moldovan is at 9 over par. He's got a couple of holes to go. How about this? I told you about carnage on the course at Oakmont. Nobody, not one single golfer is under par. No one. We have two golfers that are even. J.J. Spawn and Lawrence. That's it. They're at even par. Oh, wait a minute. What in the Sam heck? Okay, I got to make sure I'm reading this right, because I'm seeing Victor Hovland at 2 under. I'm seeing McNeely at 3 under. Who is in charge of this U.S. Open leaderboard on the cell phone? You should do it by who's on the course, what hole they're on. And this is just not making a whole lot of sense. So I'm going to read you what I got. Okay? McNeely is at 3 under par. J.J. Spawn is at even par. Hovland is at 2 under par. Adam Scott is 1 over par. Hovland is done for the day. He just finished up. Xander Schauffele is +1. He's on the 13th. McNeely's on the 13th. He is 3 under par. Jason Day, go Bucks. He is 3 under par. Lucas Glover is at even. Phil is +4. I'm sorry, JJ Spawn. Okay, now I know what I did. I didn't go over to the next column. That's the problem. Okay, so JJ Spawn. Well, there's not that many under for the tournament. For the tournament now, this is for the tournament. JJ Spawn is 4 under par. Burns is 3 under. Lawrence is 3 under. Dietrich is 3 under. Victor Hovland is 1 under. This is for the tournament. This is not what they shot for the day, but this is what they're at the tournament. Adam Scott is +1 for the tournament. Siwoo Kim is +2. Brooks Koepka +2. Xander Schauffele +3. Let's see here. Some other notable name. Jason Day is +3 for the tournament. Lucas Glover is +4. Phil Mickelson +4. Looks like he's going to make it. John Rahm is +4. Colin Morikawa is +4. And now the phone has decided to do an update. You know what? Take this cell phone and throw it against the wall. All right. We'll get you some more updates as we move along. Again, looking like the cutoff is going to be 4 or 5 over par. It is a very, very tough course at Oakmont, and we told you about that. We knew that's what it was going to be like. So that's interesting right there. So he's having fun down the hall. The College World Series underway this weekend in Omaha, Nebraska. This is one of the most underrated college sports championships. It is. Now, it's getting more juice lately. TV has helped because a lot of, like the ESPNs have started to, and I'm talking about ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN News, so on and so forth. They started covering regular season games. Then they started covering the conference tournaments. So that kind of whet your appetite a little bit, right? Then they would do the show where the bracket was set. Then they would do the first round, which was the regionals. Then they would broadcast all the supers. And now, obviously, they do all the World Series games. This is an underrated event. And if you've never been to Omaha, Nebraska for the College World Series, again, this is another bucket list. I keep forgetting about it. I'm so into going to the Major League Baseball stadiums, I forget about the College World Series. Used to be at Rosenblatt Stadium back in the day. Well, they finally had to get rid of that thing, and they built a brand new stadium. It is beautiful. Now, the only bad thing, and this is out of their control, is the weather. Sometimes it gets gross hot. I'm talking mid to upper 90s and just disgusting humidity. But it's been that way forever. And they do happen to get some little bit of nasty rain and storms. But if you know that going in, you'll be okay. But the College World Series, in my opinion, is a very underrated sports event that happens over about a week because it is a double elimination. But this year, really a little shakeup. The SEC with Arkansas and LSU, that's it. They dominated last year between the SEC and I forget what the other conference was last year. It was the SEC and the ACC. They had 8 of the teams in the World Series. Okay, there's only 8 teams, 2 conferences. This year we've got 5 conferences: SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, Missouri Valley, and Sun Belt. And then there's Oregon State, by the way, who is an independent because, well, the Pac-12 is no more, but it's coming around. They've added some teams. They've made some moves. The Pac-12 is actually going to come back. It's not going to be what it used to be, but you like how much fun I'm having trying to get these papers to stay up on this ledge over here?
It's okay. The people at home cannot see that at all.
Oh, so. They can't?
No, you're good.
Oh.
You just gave yourself away.
I did.
Yes.
I did. We got all this stuff up here, and it just keeps falling, slipping, sliding. You get to about the first 4 words of a sentence, and it falls down and goes on the floor. I mean, unbelievable. But the College World Series, yeah, that's going to be cool. I will tune into that. Remember when Kent State made it? I mean, it was a while ago, but man, was it fun. I remember staying up till 1:30 in the morning. Remember they had to win and this is all in memory, and I hope I'm doing this right. They had to play Kentucky. Okay, they played the regular season. They won the Mid-American Conference tournament. Then they had to go to Lexington to play in the Kentucky Regional. They came out of there. Then they took them out to Oregon to play in the Super Regional, and they beat the Ducks in Eugene to go to the College World Series. How fun was that? Watching little old Kent State playing with the big boys at the College World Series. And right now I forget who they were. They may have played Texas in a game, maybe in Oklahoma. It was a while ago. But that was so much fun to watch Kent State play in the College World Series. That was a lot of fun. That really was. That was a lot of fun. The College World Series for many years, and it's still kind of set up that way, although we had a couple crash the party this year. That was just kind of set up to keep the little guys out. It really was. They didn't want teams from the MAC. They didn't want teams from the Missouri Valley. They didn't want teams from the WAC. They didn't want that. They wanted the big boys. That's what they wanted. It was kind of set up against the little guy. It was too hard. But Kent State said, you know what, screw that. They made it the 1 year. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's gonna be good this week, and I'll be interested to see. Obviously, Oregon State to me is the team to beat. I think they're the team to beat. LSU is really, really good. Arkansas is really, really good. Don't count out Coastal Carolina. Don't count out the little guy. They could make a little noise. That'll be fun. A couple of other news and notes before we take our final break. The Stanley Cup last night, we told you 5-4. We played some of the highlights for you as Edmonton beat Florida. Man, the Panthers coughed up another big lead last night. That series is tied at 2. And guess who was in the house? You bet, the power couple, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. They had a nice little suite there, and they were there for Game 4 of the NHL down there. And I'll tell you what, man, that place rocks. What is it? American Bank Arena. It's in Sunrise, Florida, so it's a little bit outside of outside of Orlando, maybe, or Miami. But that place rocks. But they showed up last night, and boy, all the cameras were all over them. Some wild news last night. I was actually chatting with my good buddy, Jason Allen Murphy from Canton. Now he lives out in Las Vegas, does a lot of great stuff for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, this signage business, and really makes things pop when his group is called in to do so. And we were talking about the Browns-Vegas game coming up in Las Vegas. And he invited us out last year to come to go to the game, and we had a great time. And I think we're going to do that again. I think the family's going to go out again in November to Vegas to watch the Browns again this year. And then as we are talking, all of a sudden there's like a 3 minute of nothing. But I can see the dots. On the phone, you can tell when somebody's trying to message you. And then, boom, there it is. Antonio Brown is wanted on attempted murder charges. I'm like, whoa, this conversation just took a quick turn. So I'm like, okay, now I got to Google. What is going on? And authorities were looking for Antonio Brown to arrest him on the charge of attempted murder with a firearm. This was according to the Washington Post. Now, this was last night about 10 o'clock our time. So when I was chatting with Jay, it was 7 o'clock out in Vegas. The charge, I guess, related to a little bit of a dust-up at a Miami boxing event that took place back in May. So a warrant obtained by the Post calls for Brown to post $10,000 bond and to stay under house arrest until a trial. The warrant was signed by a judge Wednesday, but attempts to reach Brown on Thursday were unsuccessful. Now, this event we were talking about, this little dust-up that started, the boxing, was back in May 16th. Okay? What in the world is going on with Antonio Brown? This guy's had way, 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 way too many problems. Way too many problems. So we'll keep on top of that. Major League Baseball, just a little trade yesterday involving a former Cleveland Guardian. He might have even been a Cleveland Indian. Remember Aaron Savali, right-handed pitcher? Well, he got sick and tired of being in Milwaukee. I guess he got bumped out of the rotation. So what do we do nowadays? In the college, we go to the transfer portal. If you're a pro, you go to the front office and you say you want to trade. Well, the Brewers says, you want traded? You're going to get traded. How's the Chicago White Sox sound? So that's where he's going. They exchanged for first baseman Andrew Vaughn, goes to Milwaukee. Now Aaron Savali is now a member of the Chicago White Sox. And Russell Westbrook, this is out of the NBA, he declined his player option for next year with the Nuggets. He will become an unrestricted free agent coming up here in about 14, 15 days. His player option was worth $3.5 million. He declined it, and now he wants to go on the open market and see what else is out there. Now, here's the scoop on Russ. He played in 75 games this year. He averaged 13.3 points a game, 4.9 rebounds, and almost 2 steals a game. That's not horrible. That's not horrible. And now he thinks he's going to get more than $3.5 million. I don't know. Russ is a 9-time All-Star. He's going to be 37 years old. But he looked pretty good to me when I watched the little Denver Nuggets this year. He looked better than he did the couple of previous years when he was screwing around out with the Clippers. Remember when he played for Oklahoma City, 2018, 2019?
That's when I know Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. And he has bounced around, man. Houston, Washington, the Clippers, Denver, and now he's looking for another home. And I was joking with Jeff Lindesmith, Central Catholic football coach, who we had on in the 3 o'clock hour. We talked OHSAA Football Playoff Changes, and then we veered off into the NBA for a couple of minutes. And I said, hey, man, Russ is available. And he laughed, and he says, I love Russell Westbrook. Would he be a good fit for the Cavs? Would you want Russ?
I don't know.
Because Darius Garland's not going to be ready. He's going to have toe surgery. He's not going to play. I bet you Darius doesn't play in a regular season game until maybe November, which is still really early. But would you bring a guy like Russell Westbrook in, get him for, I don't know what kind of money he's looking for? Would you bring him in?
I mean, he's a good player. He's a good all-around player. He kind of, he's kind of good at good at everything.
Yeah, a little Swiss Army knife,
he can run, he can do the threes.
Going to be 37 though, but I think Russ still loves the play.
Yeah,
and maybe
definitely.
If you say, "Hey, Russ, come to Cleveland," we got a chance to maybe, well, I don't know, maybe get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't want to say win a title. I'm still bitter about what happened, but maybe he says, what the heck? Let me go put on the wine and gold and see what we can do.
I don't know.
That'll be interesting.
I think minus those injuries, we'd be watching the Cavs play in OKC right now.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it would, because they had such a good regular season. The only thing that really handcuffed them in the playoffs was all those injuries. So
yeah,
that's what I tell myself at night.
Yeah, I want to believe that, but then our guys that were healthy just didn't have enough. Didn't have it.
No, they played like a team.
They just didn't have enough. They weren't hungry. They weren't tough enough.
Too discouraged by their injuries, I would say.
It was kind of underwhelming. That's unbelievable. The Cavs have been out of the playoffs for over a month, and I'm still mad. I need to get over that. All right, we're going to take a break. Our final break of the day. We'll come back and wrap things up. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on a fill-in-the-blank Friday right here on 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
At YMCA Summer Camp, kids find their why. Friendship and fun, a world of adventure beneath a golden sun. Running, laughing, full of wonder. being themselves is second nature. Summer camp is where they begin to unlock the confidence that lies within. When kids find new passions, they find their why. Summer camp season starts soon. Learn more at ymca.org for a better us.
With love I will build a wonderful thing that makes this life better for you and for me.
For 100 years and counting, Shriners Hospitals for Children has been creating wonderful opportunities for children in need. This life-changing medical care helps them do the things they've always dreamed of.
Shriners Hospitals for Children has done so much for me and so many other kids.
I can dance.
I can play games with my friends.
Because of Shriners Hospitals for Children, I have no limits, and I'm doing more than what I ever thought possible.
To find out more about how children in need are being helped every day, go to loveshriners.org today.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, back on the Sam Bourquin Show a couple of minutes before we bid you adieu for what we hope is a fantastic weekend for you. Dougie and the PTO. You know what, what's PTO? I've had people text me, Sam, I heard you refer, what is PTO?
Paid time off. Oh, yeah. I get what as soon as I said it, I immediately got the joke.
Yeah, it's Perry Township, Ohio. That's kind of like a little thing. So we would always say the PTO. But Dougie says, hey, you were talking about Friday the 13th a while ago and how it's unlucky. He says, Sammy, the Friday the 13th has been good to me. I was hired on 2 different jobs on that particular day. Also met my wife on Friday the 13th. We have been married 45 years coming up this October. So not all Friday the 13ths are bad. Is that even a thing anymore?
That's a good positive note to leave on. I'll let that lift me up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I mean, I don't, Friday the 13th used to be, oh my God, people used to be afraid to go out of their house. Or, don't walk under the ladder. If they saw a black cat, they would run the other way. I don't think that's a thing anymore.
I think the problem now is that the world's already so insane that
it's
Friday
like
the 13th
is, every day.
Yeah, it's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you're scared to leave your house every day. Who cares?
Oh, people, what's the matter with you? All right, that's going to wrap things up. Thanks to my coaches for coming on today. Canton Central Catholic's Jeff Lindesmith, Ron Johnson from Salem, and, of course, Scott Garcia over at Glen Oak. Again, good luck and congratulations to the Garcias. Their son getting married tomorrow, so that'll be cool. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Thanks to everyone for listening and participating today. We'll take a break here for the weekend, and we'll come back ready to roll Monday at 3 right here on AM 1310 WDPN. Have a great weekend, everybody, and don't forget, go Bucks, go Browns, go Cavs, go Guards. Good night. Have a great weekend.